Wake up with a nice cup of morning roast.
Oh, yeah.
Featuring Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky.
Well, I'm about that action, boss.
Take him out! This is the morning roast on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, baby. We look like stepbrothers today. How about that? Shasky had a nice little button up. Let me get my button up here. Hold on. Let me do it for the camera right here. Ooh, baby.
You know, I'm late to this. I don't know if you have, subscribed to them yet. There are dress shirts, and then there are what I will call like going out shirts.
Going out shirts.
And we're both wearing button downs.
Yeah. But these are going out shirts too.
But that's my point. And so what I've learned is I went to this Untuck It. I'm not doing a read here. This is not a sponsorship. I'm admitting. Although, if you're out there listening, Untuck It, I will absolutely do a sponsorship.
Untuck It. Basketball season starts in over a month. Your boy could use a couple more button-ups. I'm not saying.
Have you had any of their shirts?
I don't think I have.
So this is an Untuck It shirt,
Untuck It.
and I'm telling you, I love them. They're very thin.
I think this is Polo.
Polo, great brand. But there are certain dress-down shirts that are almost like too cottony for me and too sweaty. Yeah. I like it nice and loose.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you right now, this is my favorite brand.
This is.
Even though they're way too out of my price point for right now.
I mean, that's what happens, right? That's what happens, right? I mean, we're broke, baby. Look, we're gonna have a lot of fun today. Our button-ups. Listen, we're dressed up because we got a meeting after the show, and we got to look dapper and whatnot. I actually wore jeans this morning. Go figure.
We're both going to court simultaneously.
Yeah. I mean, Shasky combed his hair today. I brushed my hair. It's all good.
The little bit of hair I've got left.
Wednesday, we're going to talk to Dave Stewart at 8:30 about his Hall of Fame induction with the Oakland A's. And Stu's always fun, so we could talk some general baseball with him. And he's a big boxing guy. He watches everything. He was at the NBA Finals for crying out loud. Game 5 watching the Warriors and Celtics. And he had that glare watching that game, that glare.
When you played strikeouts growing up, because everyone did this, was Dave Stewart one of the people that you would impersonate when you were the pitcher?
I tried to, but I never looked that intimidating.
Well, of
People
course.
just laughed at me.
I think he's got maybe him and Rod Beck. If I were to go like my top two stares in sports.
Ooh, Rod Beck.
I think, at least at pitching, those are the two guys that I would go to.
Randy had that scowl, man. Randy Johnson, that is.
Yes.
Randy Johnson just had that scowl with that mustache.
Yeah. He also looked like a bartender in the Wild Wild West.
He did. I mean, he looked scary up there. 6'10", 6'9", just throwing heat. Stu, though, that glare was unbelievable. Tomorrow, and by the way, also, Bonte, did you lose a couple? That's the 7th person that said that over the weekend. I'm trying to lose some weight, folks. I'm trying to lose a little weight. Your boy was eating big this summer. I'm trying to lose some weight so I can fit into my suits or whatnot. But Dave Stewart, 8:30. Tim Hardaway tomorrow. Tim Hardaway Sr. We'll get a time on him. We're going to talk to him tomorrow, part of Run TMC. He got his due. He got his due in Springfield, Massachusetts last Saturday. So a big weekend in the Bay Area. Of course, we're going to talk Niners and Seahawks. We'll start to flip the page from Chicago and talk a little Seahawks because I wonder if it's still a rivalry with the fans. I feel like Sunday at the home opener, we're all going to get reacquainted into why we hate the Seattle Seahawks and the 12s. We'll do that as well. But I do, for a couple minutes, the Giants. The Giants. They lose to the Braves yesterday 5-1, but who they're done. Who cares about the loss?
The Braves, watching the Braves, before you move on, watching the Braves, I longingly look at them and I go, my God, I'm so jealous.
Do you see why I've been talking about them all year?
I'm so jealous.
It happened last year when you see Acuna went down midseason and they took off.
I know.
I mean, he's not even having a great year, and they're still flying because Vaughn Grissom comes straight from Double-A. They get who else they got? Michael Harris III.
Did you know that Vaughn Grissom was like an 11th round pick in the same draft that Farhan started his first drafting?
Oh my gosh, he looks like a stud, doesn't he? What about Michael Harris III?
I mean, they all look good. I mean, that was a beautiful swing the other way. It was like, and Kruko and Kuip were talking about it, just super professional. I'm watching that team, Bonte, and the reality of watching that team, we could say, oh, they drafted well. If you look at their actual first-round picks and how long it took for guys to get there, it's not like they picked superstars that were no doubt about it. They developed these guys. They signed them internationally and developed them in their farm. Their farm system produces players. And I'm going to start at the top. Their GM, I didn't even know who he was. Alex Anthopoulos. I'm not even pronouncing it.
Anthopoulos.
Okay, I'm not even pronouncing it properly.
Let's do that.
He was the Blue Jay
Let's
GM.
just call him Alex A.
He was the Blue Jay GM for a couple of years, okay?
We call him Double A.
And then he lost his job there, went to the Dodgers. He's still only 45 years old.
Right.
Went to the Dodgers for 2 years as the vice president of baseball ops. And then in 2017 was signed by the Atlanta Braves to be the GM there. And he's made a lot of different, like Acuna, who you referenced.
Right.
An international free agent signing who they developed.
Right.
Name the last guy, the international free agent pool that the Giants have brought up and developed.
Is it Pablo?
The only guy I can think of, like I'm saying the last guy that who was a highly touted dude. Maybe it is Pablo. I don't know. But Angel Villalona, I feel like I'm still scarred.
Where's he at now?
In the jail somewhere?
Is he back? Is he in jail? Because I know he got out. He went back to the minors for a second. I know he got into that situation in Central America. I don't know, but that's a name we all waited on, right?
Well, Bonte, so's Ozzie Albies. He was an international free agent signing. Austin Riley was a pick from the other regime who they've developed. These are guys that they developed in their system.
By the way, it's just funny, the YouTube comments. Sean, by the way, I just say good morning to everybody getting off their graveyard shifts. If you're at work, good morning. If you're getting ready for work, good morning. I'm going to read some of these comments. Everybody out there, good morning on 280, 101. Be safe out there on the roadways. YouTube, Miller. Twitch, and the Comcast Business Text line. So we got San Jose Jazz fan. What is up? Dress up day at school. All right. So we got that. Then we got Tyler Miller. Oh, man. Y'all got court today or new LinkedIn headshots?
Yeah.
I do need a new LinkedIn headshot. I do need one. Mine's a little outdated. Whatever. Our boys are looking like about 150, 180 grand. Look like money, baby. We look like money. The Giants don't look like money because I'm looking at this text on the Comcast Business Text line. I was at the game last night, and I couldn't believe how many substitutions the Giants were doing. They had 3 different left fielders by the 7th inning. Felt like little leagues out there. Welcome to 2020, 650. Welcome to 2020. But go ahead with the Double A, the vice president of the Atlanta Braves.
Basically, what I'm getting at is that I think the Giants got the wrong guy.
Oh, you said
Well, we bestowed all of this power and wisdom and selections and development onto Farhan. Are we sure he's the right guy? We've talked about Andrew Friedman ad nauseum.
No, well, nobody gives Andrew Friedman credit for the Dodgers, and I wonder, I've been yelling this all year for the last 2 years, actually. Andrew Friedman constructed the Tampa Bay Rays. Remember when they started helmet? Mm-hmm. David Price, B.J. Upton, Evan Longoria, Matt Garza. They had big game James Shields. They were humming. And Joe Madden, the manager who's been fired by the Cubs and been fired by the Angels. But he built that Tampa Bay system.
Wouldn't you agree that a lot of people turn and pivot and point to the Tampa Bay Rays system and they go, we want to run our team like them but spend a little more money?
Right, exactly.
Okay, everyone says it. No one else can do it. You know what I'm saying? The Dodgers have gone out and they have spent above and beyond. The Cardinals make massive moves left and right. So many teams have tried to replicate the Rays thing. And, for the example, the A's have tried to do this.
Right.
They've tried to replicate the Tampa Bay Ray model. And yet, every 3 or 4 years, they're turning the entire roster over because they can't figure it out.
And you see what Tampa's doing? They're starting to spend a little bit more money. Glasnow, they signed to an extension. Rizzaroni, and then, of course, Wander Franco, who's back in the lineup. They gave him a massive deal.
Yes. But the point being is that everybody points to that. It's a very unique situation, and no one has seemed to replicate it. And I was taught that the Giants were going to spend money, and they were going to be smarter than everyone. Not only was Farhan going to change the entire farm system and make development better, but he was going to spend wisely, and we were going to get younger, and he was going to have the hard conversations with the older veterans, and we were going to move off of them. Bonte, how is their average age in the infield older now than when he took over?
Yeah, I don't know.
How is their outfield age older now than when he took over?
I don't know.
Why is the guy pitching last night, an 18th round pick, the first guy to be a Farhan drafted guy making his debut?
Yeah, it's sad. And what did he do? Give up a walk and in a double?
Look, I'm not trying to.
I'm not trying to rip the kid.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's his first major league appearance. Whatever. But listen to this. The Giants are poised to become just the 4th team in Major League history to finish under 500 in a full season 1 year after winning 100-plus games.
4 times in baseball history.
4 times in baseball history. The St. Louis Cardinals followed up a pennant-winning 101-61 season in 85 with the 79-82 record. The Reds did it in 1970, and the Cardinals again in 1931. Hasn't happened much. And so Andrew Bagley in The Athletic wrote this article where he sat down with Charles Johnson, basically one of the owners of the San Francisco Giants. And he gave Farhan Zaidi a vote vote of confidence.
Crazy.
But there's a lot of excuses in this article.
I know.
One, hey, the pandemic really set our timeline back. Nobody else is making that excuse in Major League Baseball. The Diamondbacks aren't making that excuse. The Padres aren't making that excuse. Nobody else is making that excuse. What about the Mariners
What about the
who brought up
Rockies?
Julio Rodriguez?
The Diamondbacks.
Right.
Like every team that you're referencing, none of them are making that excuse.
Nobody's making that excuse. So
Here's the thing that was, okay, so from the Andrew Bagley article from The Athletic, the thing that stuck out the most, he's got 1 year left on his deal, Farhan.
yeah, and he hasn't gotten an extension. However, did you see that in the article? They didn't really, during press releases when it came to Brian Sabean, they didn't announce his extensions. They never even talked about it. But
Sabean made the playoffs.
Yeah, Sabean made the playoffs over and over.
Look at Sabian's win-loss record.
Sabean was awesome.
You know?
Sabean, is he on the Wall of Fame yet?
He should be.
Sabean doesn't get enough due in
I
this
agree.
market.
And we destroyed him.
We destroyed him every single year.
FireSabian.com, remember that?
FireSabian.com, when those Giants teams were on the cusp. You talk about always how it's tough to win in sports. How
It
it's
is.
tough to win
It's
the
so
championship.
hard.
The Giants were on the cusp from 97 all the way through 2004. They had great teams. And Sabean was the architect. And then again, they win it in 2012 or 2010, 2012, 2014. We know what happens there. But here's what else Charles Johnson said, because everybody said, hey, are the Giants going to spend some money? Well, are they motivated? Here's what Bagley said. Are they motivated enough to restore the payroll into a $175 million range where it resided from 2015 to 17? Or even bump up against the luxury tax threshold, as they did when they spent more than $200 million in 2018? The short answer from Johnson, it depends. But if that's what it takes, then yes. Johnson said the baseball needs, as far as what we need to do to put a very competitive team on the field, we're willing to do that. If it was 175 or 180 million or higher than that, we're willing to do that. There's going to be years when you have 3 or 4 prospects coming up ready to roll, and that may put some relief on the payroll. So we'll see about that. But none of these prospects are ready to go. And so then he said, Johnson and Zaidi have spoken about how to rank their priorities. Johnson said, I'd rather not comment on what we have to do while the guys are still out there trying to win each game. I'm certainly happy to talk in specifics after the last game ends on what we need to do. But it will be a different team next year. That last sentence, it will be a different team next year. How different? Time will tell.
So there's layers to this conversation. Charles Johnson did some great things for this team in terms of being one of the majority stakeholders as the owner. His son Greg, I guess, is going to be kind of like taking over. I'm not really sure. The whole thing makes very little sense to me. There is a board of people that they have to get anything checked and approved through, and I think it's a little too much for me, just in my opinion. It's hard to get 2 people to agree on something. Good luck getting a panel of people to agree on something. Charles, you're 90. You're worth $6 billion. You're the only billionaire in sports talking about penny pinching. You've paid the stadium off in 2016. Either you're ready to spend like a big boy in big boy sports or sell the damn team. Because I guarantee you there is a thirsty, bloodthirsty, competitive owner out there who wants the Giants and looks at them as the West Coast Red Sox and says, I will spend $220 million every single year on my payroll. And I will freaking take this team and drag them to the playoffs and turn them into a cash cow. Can we agree? The Giants are a cash cow financially.
Absolutely. Revenue. I mean, they sell all kind of merchandise. It's a party down there, and they're still getting concerts.
Look at the road. Milwaukee was filled with Giants fans.
Wrigley Field over the weekend. Nothing but Giants fans. A lot of Giants caps. There's a lot of Giants caps and Niner jerseys.
That's what I'm saying. Do not tell me this isn't a sleeping giant in terms of they own Northern California.
Let me ask you this. Farhan only has 1 year left on the deal. Do you extend him this offseason, or do you let him play it out?
No. If you give this guy 1 year, I'm not extending him. No, I would clean house. If you're asking me directly, I'm cleaning house.
I'm not mad at that, and I told you.
I would start fresh. I would get rid of Kapler and Farhan. Start fresh.
This brand of baseball is just not appealing to me.
It's been 4 years. 4 years, and you can say pandemic.
Nobody else is using that excuse, though.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm not using that excuse.
Okay.
It's like using the rain for Sunday's game against the Niners and Bears as an excuse. I'm not buying it.
Imagine the Warriors saying, the pandemic is the reason that Jordan Poole didn't develop. I'm serious. Would Warrior fans allow that to be a conversation?
No.
Are we allowing that to be a conversation for Javon Kinlaw or Brandon Ayuk?
Nope.
Okay?
Not at all.
So I don't want to hear it when it comes to the Giants prospects. Figure it out. You're worth $6 billion. Put the infrastructure in place. So I'm going back to the same thing that I'll continue to say. It's unacceptable for them to field a team that's not worth $200 million in salaries every single year. They should be a top 5 to 8 spending team in baseball every single year.
Yep.
You have no stadium debt. You've got $300 million that you got from Oracle, and you have yet to put it out onto the field.
Right.
I don't want to hear the excuses about you being broke. If that's the case, sell the team to someone who wants to spend.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And we had to get that Giants talk out of the way because I know people want to talk some Niners, and we will get back to the 49ers here. A lot to get to. They brought in Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack signed to the practice squad, looking for a running back. They worked out a quarterback. I think they probably worked out the quarterback just to throw to the running backs. We'll see about that. But Marlon Mack had a 1,000-yard season with the Indianapolis Colts. We'll see if he can run the ball Sunday. Can he pick up the system in time? Or is it Jeff Wilson Jr.? Is it Jordan Mason time? Are we going to see TDP for the first time in the Niners uniform? But the home opener Sunday is rocking and rolling, and the spread is high.
It is.
Vegas has the Niners favored by 9. That's a high spread for a divisional game.
Can I just put one last punctuation on Giants ownership for a second here before we transition?
Go ahead.
If Joe Lacob bought this team, would we be penny pinching and worrying about bringing Brandon Belt back or Carlos Rodon back or anybody? I mean, let's be real here.
Dude.
Why do we accept subpar, scared money ownership in this market?
Well,
we are a big boy market.
I've been saying
This
that.
ain't the Minnesota Twins.
Well, I've been saying that. This is a championship.
We're the Giants.
Listen, this is a championship or bust market now.
We are an original National League team. We have won 3 World Series. We're not the have-nots from Candlestick anymore. We're not the team that doesn't have the infrastructure in place. We've got the legacy. We've got the money. You got the fan base. I don't want to accept losing anymore.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen this offseason. I don't know who they're going to sign. And I don't know, and I've been saying this all year, what players are going to want to come here and play in this philosophy, in this system, where you're subbing left and right? Like the Aaron Judge needs us to be, as he hits his 57th home, was it 58 now?
He hit 2 last night.
I know, at Fenway Park, majestic
and
home runs.
he's carrying them.
Carrying the Yankees.
Yeah.
Carrying them. But that's the Yankees, all right? Big boy market. The Giants play like a small-time team. And this philosophy, where Giants fans have mocked A's fans for years, oh, you little money ball. We just spend money and we do what we do. We don't care about money ball. Giants fans don't accept that philosophy at all.
No.
107 wins last year, great. But here's the real deal about the Giants. They've been losers 5 of the last 6 years. They've been losers.
I know.
Losers.
I know.
All right? That's not a fluke.
Coinciding with the Dodgers rising. And you can say, oh, they only won the one COVID year. They've won the NL West. What is it, 8 out of the last 10 years?
9 out of 10, 9 out of 10.
Whatever the number
11.
is, it's absolutely insane. Bonte, I'm going to continue to say this. It's unacceptable. And as a Giants fan, we deserve better. We do. We bought so much merchandise when this team was winning World Series. Where'd that money go?
Well, that
we could platoon second base?
Well, no, listen, the Giants did spend a lot of money in 2017-18.
It's not.
16,
How are they spending less now with inflation being at what it is and seeing what everyone around baseball is making more money now than they've ever made? We're spending less. That is a disproportionate valuation chart, B.
Wow. Dodgers have won 9 of 10.
There you go.
9 of 10 of the NL West. They've already won it this year. The outlier being the Giants last year with 107. But again, the Giants are going to become the 4th team in Major League history to win 100 games last season and then finish under 500 the next year.
We're going to roll back Jock as a Band-Aid, and we're gonna regret it. We know it. Like, I like Jock. He's a local guy.
They should have traded Jock at the deadline.
They should have done something at the deadline.
They should have traded Jock at the deadline. You may even need to trade Carlos Rodon because he's gone.
Before we're out of here, Joey Bart's still in the 9-hole. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
And look, I'm seeing Mr. Rock Bryan from Vallejo. Come on, guys. Shasky, you know the real deal on why the Giants are penny pitching. Don't tell me because it's that new building across the street. I do not care. The stadium's paid off.
Well,
stadium's paid off.
Who are we crushing right now for real estate transactions? Right. The A's, right? They're trying to make a real estate transaction. You're running a baseball team. All right, Joe Lacob made a real estate transaction.
Right.
He also ran the basketball team and was winning championships.
And he's in the tax.
Exactly.
And he's going to be in the tax for the foreseeable future as long as they're winning. I don't care about the new building in right field. I don't care. And I'm starting to hear that excuse. Well, the Giants are penny pitching because of Penn. You know what? I don't care. I don't care.
How about them sending down Lital and then saying it's performance-based?
Oh, well, can we get to that for a second?
It's performance-based.
He's lucky to be going to Sacramento. and getting on a Greyhound. Instead, he should have got a freaking coach ticket to send his ass back home, wherever the hell he's from. He should have been off the baseball team.
What did Harbaugh do when Braylon Edwards checked him?
Cut him.
Yeah, what did he do when Brandon Jacobs was complaining about touches?
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
You're out of here.
You're
out of here.
Just say it with your chest.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
We're going to go, it's performance. No. That's a weak move. Send his ass home. Send his ass back to North Carolina where he's from. Oh, go Sacramento. Why are you giving him a chance to be in the Giants organization and put on that orange and black? He should be gone.
He's the highest prospect in Sacramento, by the way.
Can you believe? Can you believe that guy had the audacity to show up a manager? Zach freaking Littell?
Oh, wow.
Littell, whatever the hell his name is.
That is a crystallization of where you are as an organization. You don't even have the cojones to tell Zach Littell to take a hike.
Wow.
Because you kind of need him. That's how bad. And it's 5.04 ERA.
5.08
Not the 5.04 boys.
5.08 now. 5.08.
Whatever.
Come on, add that point forward to
stinks.
it. He does stink. All right, we're done with the Giants. We're done. Until Mark Willard comes in. We're done now. What's coming up on the game? Sponsored by B&W Fairfield. Dave Stewart at 8:30. Dave Stewart, we got to show love to Dave Stewart. Stu was he was basically the crown jewel over the weekend at the Oakland Coliseum for the Oakland A's, and he choked up a bit as they finally gave Stu his due at the Coliseum. Plus, Niners and Seahawks. What does Niners and Seahawks mean to folks? What does it mean? 888-957-9570. Seattle's trying to come down here and be 2-0 and deal the Niners a tough loss. We'll get back into Trey Lance, of course. The rest of the football team, Marlon Mack signs to the practice squad. What's up with Deebo Samuel? Will IU get more touches? And where's his defense at? Because they need a dominant performance against Geno Smith and company. We'll do all that, brought to you by BMW Fairfield, now open in the Fairfield Auto Mall. They provide a luxurious, all-encompassing experience to address all of your BMW needs. Visit BMWFairfield.com today to book your visit. That's BMWFairfield.com.
Crick with BetQL. If your NFL team went wild in Game 1 and scored 4 touchdowns or more, congratulations. The season is smooth sailing, right? Well, not so fast, my friend. In the last 17 years, teams that scored 28 or more points in Week 1 are just 54, 83, and 4 against the spread in Week 2. Can you say hangover? So if you're one of those teams that cooked this weekend, Chiefs, Eagles, Lions, Bills, and Commanders, be very wary about that spread. You've been warned. I'm Trista Crick, helping you with the book.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Yo, contractors, professional builders, designers. I got some good news for you from our friends at Golden State Lumber. Their relationships with Capital Lumber, Cal Cascade, Humboldt Sawmill, and other suppliers have led to an increase in lumber inventory. Additionally, Golden State's state-of-the-art Stockton location is fully equipped with a wall panel production facility. Golden State can help you save space, labor, and time with these prefabricated walls delivered directly to the job site. Golden State strives to deliver the most materials the next day, and in some cases, the same day. And remember, the best tool you can use on the job site is the Golden State app. All of my contractors have it, and it provides greater access to the industry-leading service team. And you'll have all the access to resources like, the zoning regulations, permitting details, and hundreds of user guides, and it's all at your fingertips. The Golden State app is available at goldenstatelumber.com, Google Play, and the App Store. Supplying the Bay Area since 1954. Golden State, when you succeed, we succeed.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie-cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly, different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Hey, Becky, what about this beat for your next song?
It's cool, but I'm into faster stuff lately. Like Xfinity that gives me beyond gig speeds.
Got it. What about this then?
It sounds powerful, just like Xfinity. Because its supersonic Wi-Fi has 3 times the bandwidth, you can connect hundreds of devices at once.
That's what I call power.
Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Get the Xfinity Supersonic Bundle with unlimited gig speed internet, Wi-Fi equipment included, and a free 4K streaming box. All for $50 a month with a 2-year internet rate guarantee and no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Go to Xfinity.com/gig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay. New Gigabit Extra internet customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes wireless usage. After 24 months, regular rates apply. Requires compatible Xfinity gateway.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake replacements, oil changes, washes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com and use code OIL50.
Visit Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill September 23rd through September 25th for their fall clearance sale event and take advantage of one-of-a-kind opportunities. Visit Friedman's Appliance Fall Clearance Sale event for the best time to save on new appliances for your home.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to GetRefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
Elise and Carl's Bakery needed a small business loan fast, but instead of going to On Deck, Carl called
Lone Falcon!
Really? Carl?
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. Go to OnDeck.com. Then if approved, get your loan as soon as the same day. Your loan is on deck. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank, a Utah Chartered Industrial Bank member FDIC. Limited eligibility for same-day funding. OnDeck does not lend in every state. All loans subject to lender approval.
From carriage house to glass aluminum doors, RNS Doors has a full line of commercial and residential garage doors and gates to suit anyone's taste and budget. Visit rsdoors.com. RNS Doors. Look for the red truck.
At Church's, we put it all on the table for less. Get 10-piece legs and thighs, 2 large size, 5 honey butter biscuits, and 5 jalapeno peppers starting at just $20. Church's Texas Chicken. Welcome to the great state of flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
Neuropathy pain? Call Dr. Robert Dees, DC, 925-393-0100.
What's going on, Roasters? It's Brian Baldinger with the NFL Network, and you're listening to The Morning Roast with Bonte and Shasky on 95.7 The Game.
Bonte, I want to get into the Niners. I'm done talking about the pathetic Giants, and we deserve better. The 49ers, there's a handful of things. I'm noticing there's a trend going on in sports right now, and you saw it with the Warriors, and I'm starting to see it with the 49ers. Yep. And what I'm saying is that, and my cousin and I have had these philosophical conversations, there is so many people talking about national stuff, but they're talking about our local teams.
Yeah.
And there's so many podcasts, and there's so many streams, and there's so many outlets.
And it's honestly starting to bother me.
Well, here's where I'm going with this. I think the fans, for a couple of years, were like, oh, this guy said this, and this person said that, and this woman said this.
Yeah.
And
how many times did you go out and somebody said, oh, what Howard said about the Niners or Skip Bayless or Stephen A? And I told him, I don't give a damn.
Well, I think that the consumer, the average fan who does watch their own team, is becoming more discerning to how ridiculous and uninformed the national media is on your local team.
Mole in Detroit called us yesterday and said, I appreciate you guys. I can't take the national stuff. When I was at Sluggers and I ran into my guy, Keith Bynum, I haven't seen Keith Bynum since we played Pop Warner football with the San Francisco Seahawks. And he said, Bonte, I'm in the car at 5 in the morning, listening to the nice guy, and I'm waiting for you guys at 6:05. I'm waiting for you guys. I love you because I love the passion that you and Shasky bring every single day. And it's not this national blah, 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 blah about our football teams. You guys know what it is in San Francisco and what the organization is all about.
So, for example, and I'm just using this as an example, I do think Cowherd does a pretty good job 9 times out of 10.
I think it's a joke.
I know you do, but my point being is that he'll always reference the Warriors. He goes, I love the NBA. Kayvon Looney, he's such a winner.
He's a clown.
And I go, well, if you watch the Warriors for just like a second, you know that you don't pronounce his name that way. For example. But that's my point. I think a lot of the national media, they glance at a box score, and that is what it is, and then they start to spew, and it gets a lot of retweets because they have big followers. But the fans out there are being underserved, number one, and number two, they're rejecting the national media because they realize how uninformed 95% of those opinions are.
And think about this. The national media don't take phone calls.
No.
Because they don't want to be checked.
Well, that's
because the fans know a lot now. The fans have a lot of information. They don't here at 95.7 The Game, we go 888-957-9570. We talk with you, not at you. A lot of those national media guys talk at you.
100%. I mean, how many different... Steph Curry. You just say Steph Curry here, and I know we're in the bubble and people think he's the greatest, but come on. How many dumb Steph Curry opinions have we heard? And he's going to go straight to the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest athletes ever.
Listen, they just won their 4th championship in the last 8 years, and Nick Rice talking about they need to go get a superstar to run it back. Did you not watch what happened? Did you not just watch what happened, Nick Ross?
So yesterday, I'm seeing Trey Lance opinions all across the board. And I want to take people behind the scenes. I'm kind of, I would say, new to the media game. I've been doing it about 5 years now. And what I didn't realize is how many people that we assume have credibility on something. I'm taking people behind the scenes here, right? We'll get player X who used to play for the Giants. I'm just using this as an example. And we bring them on. Hey, what do you think about this guy and this guy? Hey, actually, Joe, don't ask him about the current team because he doesn't really watch anymore. And that's what our producer will say, right? And the reality is so few of the people who we believe to be credible are truly up to date and current with what's really going on. Okay? Greg Cosell is an example. I think Greg Cosell is extremely thorough and knows his stuff. Do you really think he knows who Sammy Womack is on the 49ers right now who's playing in the slot?
I think Greg Cosell does. Okay. I give him that credit. He's like Baldy. They both crunch a lot of film, and that's all they do. I give him credit for that.
That's my point. That's one guy. How many hundreds of other people are talking on national media just yapping that have no idea who any of these players are?
It's the same thing every day. Jimmy, Trey, Jimmy, Trey, Jimmy, Trey.
So
not enough about Debo.
For every Greg Cosell, for every Brian Baldinger, I do feel like there are 150 who have no idea what they're talking about. And yesterday, I reached a breaking point listening to the Trey Lance stuff. The sweeping indictments on Trey Lance were driving me nuts. And I want to bring up Mike Martz because Mike Martz came onto this station.
Well,
all right?
Let me play it. Mike Martz came on this station 2 weeks ago with Damian Arado. And here's what he had to say about Trey Lance.
Well, he's been there now long enough to be ready. I promise you that. He's been with them now, so he knows the offense. If he's not ready now, he'll never be ready. I don't care how raw he was. It's who he is and how well he competes and assimilates the offense and those kinds of things. I think he's obviously, I'm not there. I've never seen him practice, but I would trust the fact that they made that move, that there's a great belief in his ability and where he'll be, and he'll coach him like that. And I think when you get a guy coaching like that believes in you, regardless, it just energizes you. It just gives you great confidence. And I think they have a great relationship.
So he mentioned that he is ready. He believes Trey will be ready. He has no doubt about that. The coaches will coach him up.
That was
He's been in the system.
3 weeks ago?
I think it was August 26th.
Okay.
August 26th.
That was less than 3 weeks ago.
So here's what Mike Martz had to say after the first game of the season about not only Trey Lance, but he also said this about Justin Fields too.
I've never seen anything about this kid that was encouraging at all. He really has to plan himself to make a good throw. He's not a quick decision guy. Everybody's shot in the rear about him being a mobile guy making plays with his feet. He looked like a fullback stumbling around trying to run the ball to me. I mean, he's not Lamar, so I don't know what he is. He's not a particularly good guy running with the football. And based on what I saw today, I mean, he missed two guys completely by themselves. I know it was in the ring, but your quarterbacks do that. You make those throws. I know this, he can only go up. He can only get better because you can't get any worse than what he did today. I've never liked him. I still don't like him. I'd like to know what he does so well because he's not a great passer, doesn't have good skills, takes him a long time to set himself and throw the football, misses easy throws, and he's not particularly a good runner. Other than that, he's a hell of a player.
So Mike Martz said that yesterday and then went all over the internet. And we've had Mike Martz on this station plenty of times. Pre-game shows, we had him on Overtime. On the pregame show, we had him on the roast. Yesterday was the first time Mike Martz said, no, I don't want to come on the station. No, I don't want to come on the show. Why, Mike? Because your take was an absolute clown take. It was an absolute clown take. And I'm looking at Tyler Miller. Is this the same guy who ran Kurt Warner out of town for Mark Bulger?
Yeah, and thought that Jamie Martin was going to be a serviceable starter. And came to the Niners. And thought J.T. O'Sullivan, a.k.a. Just Turnovers, who, hey, look, UC Davis, I like him. He's an Aggie. Right. He thought he was a better quarterback than Alex Smith, which, you know what? I mean, just he wasn't wrong until the 25 turnovers through 5 games.
I forgot to bring another cue card in because we're out of room on the first cue card. Mike Martz, Bill Simmons, the other clown from the Ringer, they're going on the second cue card.
Kevin Clark.
Who's
never played a sport in his life, maybe tennis.
So Mike Martz said he can't get any worse than what he saw on Sunday. He acts like he was 3 of 19 for 27 yards and 3 picks. What does he talk like? Mike Martz is getting old, dude. He's getting old.
Mike Martz hasn't been in the NFL for 11 years.
It sounded a little personal, too. I don't know what?
What's crazy? Someone said this on my timeline yesterday when I started ripping Mike Martz. Think about this sentence I'm going to say. Mike Martz left the Niners, and the offense got better.
They did.
With Jimmy Ray and Mike Singletary. Listen to that sentence.
Jimmy Ray, who had one top 10 offense in his life. Outside of Eric Dickerson running to you. I love Jimmy Ray. His press conferences was something else, man. The professor, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. But the offense did get better without Mike Martz. This guy.
Some guys are always at number 2. Mike Martz has been a number 2 on a variety of levels, if you know what I'm saying.
Listen, that's an appetizer of the sound we're going to play on the other side.
Oh, what do you got?
Because we got another guy in New York City who thinks he knows about the quarterback position in San Francisco. And so it's the morning roast for a reason. Today is roast day. Mike Martz, you're number 1. Wait till you see what the main course is. Main course on the other side.
I am hungry.
Yeah, I'm telling you. You're going to love it.
I wore a button up for a reason.
And this sound is 2 minutes long.
Is this white tablecloth?
I drove in today. I was feeling good. It took me 42 minutes to have my blood boiling with these takes about people about the team they don't know about. So we're going to do that on the other side. Brought to you by
Not the Darby Swanson home run last night.
No, not the Dansby Swanson home run.
Excuse me, Darby Swanson. All over the place.
Fremont Bank, full service banking, no compromises.
Okay, you know those amazing spots only the true San Francisco locals are in on? Like Square Place. That place with the square pizzas? Or Mama Hoo-Hoo. The spot for sweet and sour chicken that's anything but so-so. Order up! You know, with the Granch dressing. And all the other spots the real SF locals know without us even saying them. Yeah, they're on DoorDash. San Francisco gets it. DoorDash has it.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT. And make us your last stop.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
welcome to Autozone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. An oil change with quality oil like Castrol Edge Full Synthetic can help your engine get more out of every tank. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life oil filter for only $37.99. Get what you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Remember when you were told bigger is better? Well, that's just simply not the case. Do you want a big bill? No. A big burden? No. What about a big bulky tank water heater taking up space in your basement? No, I didn't think so. What you do want is to make all of those things smaller. Navien tankless water heaters are more efficient and take up less space than outdated bulky tanks, with cutting-edge features that improve safety, simplify processes, and increase capabilities. Once you go Navien, you'll never go back. Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month, with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 9/21/22. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Live on DAZN Pay-Per-View, September 17th, Part 3. Canelo versus Triple G to take the trilogy. Bad blood, a score to settle, controversy, brutality, pure hostility. For victory, for history, for the trilogy. Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. September 17th, live on DAZN Pay-Per-View. Visit DAZN.com.
Gorgeous gaming, stunning streams, unbelievable bandwidth. It's another Lifestyles of Gagillionaires. Meet the AT&T Fiber customers winning at life with hyper-gig speeds. Meet Gagillionaire Terry. While his love of streaming horror movies has him constantly on the edge of his seat, his internet bill won't give him a scare.
Oh, don't go in there. I'm telling you.
Because since Terry upgraded to AT&T Fiber with hyper-gig speeds, he doesn't worry about data caps or equipment fees.
Come on, man. The door's open for a reason.
And best yet, he also doesn't stress about a price increase at 12 months, because with the amazing Gagillionaire lifestyle comes an exquisite sense of tranquility. Most of the time. Live like a Gagillionaire. Get straightforward pricing with AT&T Fiber. Internet that upgrades everything. No data caps, no equipment fees, and no price increase at 12 months.
Limited availability in select areas. Visit att.com/hypergig for details.
Bart is turning 50 and we'd love to celebrate with you. Get 50% off your ride in honor of Bart's 50 years of service to the Bay Area when you pay with Clipper. That's 50% off Clipper Bart fares for the entire month of September. Add Clipper to your digital wallet for free. If you're eligible for other Clipper discounts like youth or senior fares, you get to take an additional 50% off those too. Details at bart.gov/50 years. That's bart.gov/50 years. Celebrate Bart's 50 years of service with us this September. Let's go!
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes come from the 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed and performance, personalized content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, an increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, visit your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world, turning to the best in the business for websites. Go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
Breaking news on 95.7 The Game is brought to you by Beat the Street. to win a $5.6 million prize. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Oh, my God.
Now, back to the morning roast with Bonte and Shasky.
All right, we're not wasting any time today. We're not wasting any time, not a second. And if you're not listening to us via YouTube or Twitch or watching us via YouTube, Twitch, or if you're not on the Comcast Business Text line, download the Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app right now. You can listen to it wherever you're at. I met people from Dallas, Ohio, Florida, all weekend long in Chicago. They say we listen on the Odyssey app. So download that bad boy. We're 95.7 The Game, and thousands of other stations and millions of podcasts are free on the Odyssey app. Sports talk, music, news, podcasts are all available completely free. Catch all our interviews, and plus, Warriors games live. Warriors games live on the Odyssey app. Follow your favorite team stations, radio shows, and podcasts now by downloading the free Odyssey app. We're not going to waste any time. Craig Carton, WFAN, our sister station in New York City. Guy's lucky not to be in jail, but that's okay. He got out. He was gambling. He was pulling moves. He got busted. He had a little documentary about him. Everybody felt sorry for him. Now he's got a job in prime time again with Everett Roberts, who we like. Everett Roberts has been on the show many times. We like Everett Roberts. But Craig Carton, he's made the list. Because for some reason, he knows about the quarterback position in San Francisco. He knows who's great. He knows how this operated. He knows all about 49er quarterbacks. Being in New York City, covering the Giants and the Jets all the time. So, Shasky, I don't know if you've heard this sound, but it's 2.5 minutes long.
Okay.
It's 2.5 minutes long, and we may stop it in the middle of the interview.
Okay.
Let's just start with Craig Carton talking about the 49er quarterbacks and how dysfunctional.
I'm very interested.
How dysfunctional.
All right.
The 49ers franchise is.
This will be fun.
San Francisco might be the most dysfunctional franchise in the history of football when it comes to quarterbacks.
All right, stop. Just stop right now. Stop right now. 5 seconds in. 5 seconds in. The most dysfunctional franchise in NFL history.
They've got 3 NFL MVPs at the quarterback position: John Brody, Joe Montana, and Steve Young. I just want to make sure that we're accurate here.
And let's add Jerry Rice. Let's add Ronnie Lott. Let's add Charles Haley. Let's add Ken Norton Jr., Lee Woodall. Let's add Bryant Young. Let's add Patrick Willis. Let's add Navarro Bowman, Justice Smith, Frank Gore, Roger Craig, Tom Rath. I could go on. This guy has been covering the New York Jets for his whole life. And he has the audacity to go on his airways to say the Niners are the most dysfunctional franchise in NFL history?
At quarterback.
At quarterback?
Let's keep
How
going.
does New York City accept that?
I mean,
the most dysfunctional franchise. He just got through covering Ben McAdoo with the New York Giants.
What about Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson, 2 top 3 picks that both look like busts?
Oh, my gosh. All right, let's continue, Spinoni.
All this, right? And yes, I just said that because don't scream.
You're a Jets fan.
I know. I just logic.
I'm trying to see where he's going with this.
Okay. Yes, it would make sense that I would say the New York Jets are the most dysfunctional when it comes to quarterbacks since they haven't had a franchise quarterback. No joke, since Joe Namath, okay? Just follow the bouncing ball for 1 second, guys, all right? They had Alex Smith, who was statistically as good a quarterback as they've had since Steve Young.
All right, stop. Hold on.
Okay.
Shasky.
Did Jeff Garcia not play? He went to 2 straight Pro Bowls.
What about Colin Kaepernick?
Mean,
who had better numbers than Alex Smith? We talked about this during the break, and I know it like the back of my head. I know it. 2011, everybody said, "Oh my God, Alex Smith was great." David Akers broke the field goal record. Go check how many 30-yard field goals David Akers made during that season. How about 1 for 13 during the NFC Championship game where Michael Crabtree, after the game, said, sometimes you got to let your playmakers just make a play. Crabtree had 1 catch for 3 yards that day. Why? Because Alex Smith that season threw 17 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions, and 3,100 yards. And you want to call that great?
Before Harbaugh got here, he was 16 games under 500. Okay, even after Harbaugh came, his best season in a 9. This is the best part. If I told you Trey Lance threw for 17 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, you'd say not enough.
Not enough.
Okay, that's the best year. And Alex Smith in a Niner uniform, he threw for 3,100 yards.
Garoppolo threw for 27 touchdown passes and 13 interceptions in 2019, and we're ready to run him out of town.
Yeah, because he missed one Emmanuel Sanders.
Because he missed one throw.
Yeah, I know.
He missed one throw. We roasted him for throwing 8 passes during the NFC Championship game.
The misremembering of Alex Smith's 49er tenure, he had 125 turnovers and 80 touchdowns.
Hold on.
125!
Hold on. But not only this, Wasn't Alex Smith the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs the year they did not have one touchdown from a wide receiver? I've never seen that. I don't think that ever happened in NFL history.
I just can't believe he actually thinks that Alex was better than Jeff Garcia.
Go ask Dwayne Bowe if Alex Smith is great.
Well, I mean,
go ask Michael Crabtree.
I mean, don't ask T.O. if Garcia was good. But other than that, everyone agrees Garcia was good.
Go ask Tate Gitt Jr. if Alex Smith was a great quarterback.
Let's continue this. I want to keep hearing what Craig Carton has to say.
And what they do with Alex Smith. They got rid of him for Colin Kaepernick, okay?
Which was the right decision.
Then leads them to a Super Bowl appearance. Of course, they lost to Baltimore. Beyonce hit the lights out. Everyone went crazy in New Orleans. And whatever happened. So Colin Kaepernick comes in and has a fantastic year and a half, right? Yeah. Then all of a sudden, they decide he can't play.
Wait, pause it. They went through 4 coaches in 4 years, and he tore his shoulder up. Remember, he missed time.
Yeah.
That's what ended up happening.
Yep.
I know. I still am frustrated that they didn't bring back Kaepernick, and I never wanted Blaine Gabbert to be the starting quarterback. They had 4 different coaches in 4 years, and his shoulder was wrecked, and that's why he didn't start the year on the team. That's the whole point of him being on the bench at the very beginning. He was hurt.
And then he played for Blaine Gabbert, and you see why he threw 16 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions.
I mean, at least get the facts of what was going on, right? He's completely wrong. Continue, Craig Carton. This is a national media talking about our quarterback situation.
WFAN, by the way. WFAN, the station that built Sports Talk Radio. That apparently it was Mad Dog and Mike and the Mad Dog or whatever.
How many Niner games do you think he watched? How many Niner games do you think he watched from the Clink, too? You think he's watching the All-22 from the Clink?
Did they have NFL TV?
I mean, come on.
Did they have the NFL ticket?
Keep going, Craig
NFL
Carton.
ticket?
Yeah, seriously.
Throw back in jail for these takes. Go ahead.
Make a trade for Jimmy G. Jimmy G then takes them to 2 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl. And they decide
that's what I'm saying.
He's no good. So they've gone Smith, winner, Colin, winner, Jimmy.
Alex Smith is a winner now?
His best
what has he
years
ever won?
With Andy Reid.
What has he ever won? He got smoked in a wild card game against Indianapolis. All right? He blew a 21-3 lead against the Tennessee Titans in a wild card game.
Should have destroyed New Orleans. They had 8,000 turnovers.
And they needed a last second drive to beat the Saints, who had one of the worst defenses in the last 20 years. And all of a sudden, he's a winner? A winner? Andy Reid couldn't wait to move off of him for Patrick Mahomes. What did Adrian Peterson say? When I saw him throw that ball, I said, damn, Alex, you in trouble. Alex, you in trouble. And he was in trouble and got shipped to Washington. All right, so Alex Smith's a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
He does a lot of things for foster youth.
Yeah,
he's a great
story
dude.
is an incredible one.
Came back.
I wish that everybody's sister, daughter, whatever, could marry someone with the integrity of an Alex Smith.
But come on, man. Let's stop with this. Alex Smith was a winner. A winner. Maybe that's, he's been covering the Jets so damn long, they don't know what winners look like. He's had to cover Ken O'Brien, Vinny Testaverde, who was colorblind.
Boomer Esiason.
Right. They hyped up Chad Pennington from Marshall. We knew Randy Moss. Randy Moss built Chad Pennington. I mean, crying out loud. Sam Darnold. Oh, my God, we got Sam Darnold. Now you're about to have another quarterback who flames out, Zach Wilson.
Can we get to the Trey Lance part? We haven't even gotten there.
We haven't got there. Damn, there's more?
Yeah.
There's more Spinoni?
What else we got?
All right.
Winner, and now they're on Trey Lance. I know it's legal out there.
None of those winners got them to that Super Bowl to win that Super Bowl.
They got to the Super Bowl.
Trying to find that guy. They got there, but they didn't win it.
You had Jimmy G got to a Super Bowl and lost, and Colin Kaepernick got to a Super Bowl and lost.
But why did they lose the Super Bowl?
Not because of those two guys.
Not because of Jimmy G?
No, I don't believe they did.
I just remember Emmanuel Sanders running down the field.
Is that Guru?
I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
The guy makes one bad pass.
No, I'm not saying one bad pass. I'm just saying when he wins, he doesn't win because he made his team win.
He's a game manager. I'll give you that.
He managed the game. A little luck on his side. Good defense comes up making some plays.
Just think about this.
But you can't deny the win.
You always bring up the fact that I'm a Jet fan. And I wear it on my sleeve. I am. I've been to 2 AFC championship games with Rex Ryan and Mark Sanchez, right? As a rookie and as a second-year player. But I've never seen my team in a Super Bowl, right? I would love, to go to Arizona and see my favorite team in a Super Bowl. They've had 2 different quarterbacks take them to a Super Bowl, and they're still searching for a quarterback.
Is that it? That's it?
I'm about done with that. See, but this is where I'm going. I feel like locally, we've all realized, and I believe this is where sports is going now. I believe this to my core. There's a handful of people at the top of the charts, right? Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith, whatever you think about them.
Right.
And they're going to move the needle on social media and whatever. Everybody else is just talking. And they're just saying things. And they're not informed. And it's frustrating to me because I do see the clicks and the this and the impressions and stuff.
Right.
The reality is, the fan, the consumer who's consuming sports media right now is more informed than they've ever been.
Right.
And they are picking like a buffet what they like and what they don't. And they are coming to places like 95.7 The Game because we watch every second over and over again. And we know our teams inside and out. And you know what? So do the fans. And they're discerning now.
And not only that, they know the history of this organization. They know everything that happened. Nobody misremembers Alex Smith. To call him a winner? I talk about his first ever game as a 49ers starting quarterback. Candlestick was half empty. Nobody gave a damn about Alex Smith. Why? Because we all knew Aaron Rodgers should have been the quarterback picked. We all knew Aaron Rodgers should have been wearing red and gold and not Alex Smith.
When he went to the Wikipedia page to research 49er history, was the Garcia page glued together?
Right.
What happened there?
Garcia, for some reason, and I get Garcia said some ridiculous things.
Again, he said some really bad things. I agree with that.
Garcia was a damn good 49er quarterback.
He was a great player.
He helped bridge that transition after Steve Young to get them back into the playoffs with Steve Mariucci. And I always believed they were another receiver away from being great. They made the second round of the playoffs, got smoked by Tampa Bay. They had T.O., and that's about it in the passing game. That was about it. So John McClain, I'm looking here in the Comcast Business text line. John McClain, the same guy who still owes Shasky a steak of the Houston Chronicle, said that the team was split on Jimmy G. I don't even want to read that. I don't even care. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in AC West San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Download the Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game for the best and most up-to-date sports coverage. And don't forget that you can also watch us every single day on our YouTube and Twitch streams. Just log on and search 95.7 The Game. Kaepernick comes into the game. He loses the Super Bowl. The next year they go to the NFC Championship game. And then they fire Harbaugh and all hell broke loose, right? You had Jim Tomsula. You had Chip Kelly. And everybody gets blown out. Everybody gets blown out. You had to start from scratch. You had to start from scratch. But this thing about Jimmy Garoppolo, or they haven't had a good quarterback since Jeff Garcia or Steve Young, it's just enough's enough. You cannot start your rant by saying this must be the most dysfunctional franchise in NFL history. Like the Dallas Cowboys don't exist. Like the New York Jets don't exist. Like the New York Giants don't exist. Like the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Urban Meyer saga didn't happen. All right? Like the Miami Dolphins haven't been popped for tampering left and right. Like the Arizona Cardinals, and we're going to watch them on Hard Knocks. The Cardinals are a mess. To come out there and say the Niners are the most dysfunctional franchise in NFL history, and you're a Jets fan. You're a Jets fan.
And I'm supposed to listen to what you got to say about one game in a monsoon about Trey Lance?
God bless those poor souls in New York City.
Could we agree on this? The first game could not have been better fodder for everyone who wants to be uninformed and snap to quick judgments. Like, didn't we all say to ourselves, it's going to take time. We got a rookie quarterback. We're gonna slowly build this thing up. And like one half of football in the rain, I could already see everybody's wheels turning.
Well, Mike Mart's talking about he couldn't have played worse. Here's what Baldy said yesterday on the morning roast about Trey Lance's performance.
Well, he didn't lose the game for him. He didn't lose it. You like to see in the fourth quarter him be able to see Eddie Jackson, making that throw. But, there's a lot of guys that make that throw and don't see him. He made a great play. He's a really good free safety. But other than that, in those kind of conditions, he missed a throw to Tyler Kroft. It's old Shanahan play. They've been running that thing for 30 years now. If he runs it 8 more times, he probably, strikes, gold on 7 of the 8. He just overthrew him. But, he didn't lose the game. They didn't block well up front. They didn't run the ball well. Nobody could tell you the name of those defensive linemen for the Chicago Bears. This isn't a top 5 defense. And, there was a lot of 1- and 2-yard runs from that offense on Sunday.
Yeah, now, Damian, 510, I know what he said. The most dysfunctional franchise when it comes to quarterbacks, it's not even true. You see what the Oakland Raiders / Las Vegas Raiders gone through in the last 25 years? Like, the quarterback position, the New York Jets?
What about the Browns?
Oh, my God.
What about the Browns?
Go ask the guy with the jersey of all the days who's played quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Like, what are we...
I know.
Wow.
Well, and then somebody was asking, hey, what is the best statistical season of the last, since Steve Young, for example? What's the best statistical quarterback season? Do you know what it is?
Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to you right now.
4,000 yards.
He in his first full season as a starter. By the way, 3 straight years of 16 started games.
Yep.
All right, 30 years old, Pro Bowl year. He threw, and this is so good, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 4,300 yards. Back that up with 3,600 yards, 32 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Back that up with 21 touchdowns, it looks like 10 interceptions, 3,400 yards.
Yep.
3 straight Pro Bowls. The team was 28-20, made the playoffs 2 straight years.
Yep. Lost a wild card game to Green Bay and Brett Favre. They're really in that game where Mike McKenzie tipped the ball to T.O.
And they were in salary cap hell.
They were.
But the point that I'm going at is that I think that 49er quarterbacks haven't been asked to throw the ball a lot, and this is the most pass-happy era we've ever seen. We haven't had a guy sling the ball all around. Right. Jimmy has been a great quarterback for this team.
Yes.
No one denies that.
A really good 49er.
I think he's one of the best throwers of the football since Steve Young. I'd put him somewhere in the mix with Jeff Garcia. You think Jeff's better and a more complete player? I would probably agree with you. I think health factored into that a lot.
But
I would love to have seen 2 straight healthy years from Jimmy.
Whether or not you believe Jimmy G is better than Jeff Garcia, that's another conversation. We all know he was better than Alex Smith as a 49er. You got to give Jimmy that.
Oh, he was.
Night and day.
He was.
Better 49er.
He was.
Colin Kaepernick, in those 2.5 seasons, was a better 49er than Alex Smith. It's a reason why Colin Kaepernick took his job mid-season.
And it was the right move.
It was totally the right move.
I get so nauseated seeing all the, like Mike Martz coming on this station saying Trey's ready to go, uninformed, and then the very next week saying that, the kid's not good enough. There's nothing I saw that I like.
Worse.
Is there any consistency on opinions? At least when you make a mistake, like how many times have I been wrong on something? I'll raise my hand.
I raise my hand.
And I'll say, you know what, I was wrong. And I sit here and we take calls. And we will fess up to being crucified
I'm
on
wrong
there.
all the time.
100%. I didn't know that Andrew Wiggins would do what he did. I didn't know that Draymond Green. I wanted to ship Draymond Green out for Ben Simmons? I was wrong. Draymond had a great year, got hurt a little in the middle, and then came back, had some horrible finals games, and had maybe the most signature Draymond performance he could possibly have in the finals as they're hoisting their 4th championship.
Joe, slow your roll, Pepper.
I'm sorry, Draymond. I was wrong, but I man up to it.
We all man up to it. But to say that he couldn't have played worse, and Baldy just say, hey, you can't put that game on Trey Lance. I was at that game. You can't put that game on Trey Lance in a monsoon. And a lot of people were hitting me up. I didn't see that it factor with Trey Lance. Did we see the it factor with Russell Wilson his first game as a Seattle Seahawks quarterback? Did we see the it factor with Ben Roethlisberger when he first put on his Pittsburgh Steelers uniform? All right? Did we see an it factor with Tom Brady when he first quarterbacked the New England Patriots? All right? Did we see an it factor there? No. It takes time. You're not going to get a Mahomes every single day. Like Mahomes is Josh Allen. You're a big Josh Allen fan, Shasky.
I love Josh. I was to be fair. I've been wrong on a lot of quarterbacks. I like Tua. I love Tua.
I love Tua. You know how I felt about Tua.
He looks very mediocre. Like I'll admit that.
How did I feel about Tua?
I saw him at Wyoming, and I tweeted it out in 2016.
Right.
Him and Brian Allen are NFL caliber players, and I think that was the running back. I think Josh Allen could be a star.
But how about this? What was Josh Allen's numbers his first year?
He threw for 54% completion rate. He didn't come into a game until it was 40-2 or 40-3. He came, that was his first ever appearance, and he threw a bunch of picks. Right? It took time.
Didn't have that it factor, right?
And he went to junior college, okay?
Yep.
Went to junior college.
Reedley Junior College.
And then bounced around and had to play. Like, he's a small college player, all right? Small college player who needed to develop in real time. You need the repetitions.
But now look at Josh Allen.
B, from a small school, is there anyone who has more physical gifts? If we were just listing the physical gifts in the NFL, is there a guy with more physical gifts than him?
Right now?
6'6",
I know,
240, runs like the wind.
Well, not since Big Ben, right?
Can throw a ball through a brick wall.
Ben Roethlisberger, Miami of Ohio.
He's more talented than Cam Newton, who went number 1 overall.
Wow.
And I thought Cam might have the most talent. I don't know about throwing the ball, but he still had a good arm on the deep ball. He has more talent than anyone.
So Josh Allen was 5-6 as a starter his rookie season, 52.8% completion percentage, 52.8. Next season, second year, 58.8. All right, as a starter, 10-6. We're not saying that Trey Lance is going to be Josh Allen, but it took Josh Allen time. And now you go around America. Even our program director Matt Higgins tweeted, There's not a player I'd rather have in the NFL than Josh Allen. I'm starting my team with Josh Allen. There's people who would take Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes right now.
If you told me Andy Reid was coaching Josh Allen, I might go there. But for now, I'm still going with Mahomes.
But Josh
out of respect for Mahomes. Yeah. But I agree with you. Yeah. There are a lot of people who would take Josh Allen.
So why can't we be patient with Trey Lance?
Because we refuse to be patient. Because this team's a winning team, and they have to win. They were 3-5 last year, and the season was going down the drain.
Right. Let's go to Austin in the Bay Area. He's on the roast here on 95.7 The Game. What's up, Austin?
Yeah, not much. Good morning. Look, I'm gonna touch in on this. If we got to be patient, why start Trey Lance now? Like y'all said it yourself, Kaepernick started in the mid-season. You might as well let the best players.
I think that the Kaepernick situation was very unique.
Austin, you believe Jimmy G right now is the best quarterback on this football team?
I'm not counting the first game, but yes, I do believe he's the best quarterback. I mean, y'all said it yourselves. Alex Smith got us halfway there in the midseason. Then y'all put the actual best position in there for for Kaepernick to be in the game. That should go the same thing for Jimmy G. I mean, we're not trying to throw the season away. It doesn't make any sense to start him right now.
But they started. Wait, can I ask you a question? They didn't start the kid at all last year, and they needed must-win games in the 16th, 17th, and 18th week of the season just to back into the playoffs. Right? So we're acting like this team was 13-4 last year, and they were the number 1 seed, and that all they had to do, they barely got out of Dallas with a win because of the quarterback play. Yep. They barely got out of Lambeau with a win with 0 offensive touchdowns, and they didn't do anything offensively in the final quarter and a half of the NFC Championship game. At some point, they have to let the kid play to see what he is. At some point, they had to put Debo on the field to see what he was. Yep. Remember how bad the wide receivers were in 2019?
And Debo's a rookie, and he came on.
And look where we're at now. We feel better about the wide receivers.
And now the players voted him a top 20 player in the league.
And also, I want to dispel something about the amount of inventory it costs for the Niners to go get Trey Lance, because I think there's nuance lost as we compare to Josh Allen, which everyone wants to compare to. I want to make a very, very detailed point.
Plus, I want to ask the audience, does anybody still hate Seattle? Anybody out there still hate Seattle? It's Seattle week. Home opener at Levi Stadium. Anybody out there still hates Seattle? 888-957-9570. We always talked about the rivalry in the NFC West. Are the Rams the biggest rival right now? In a lot of people's mind, maybe that's the case. But does anybody still hate Seattle without Russell Wilson? I wonder, because they still got Pete Carroll walking up and down the sideline chewing that gum. 888-957-9570. The roast will continue to roll along. Brought to you by Fremont Bank. Full service banking, no compromises.
All of us at 95.7 The Game want to congratulate Hunter Pence on his Wall of Fame induction this Saturday. He'll join Damon and Ratto in studio today at 3:30 to relive his greatest memories.
Line drive, now it's scored by Cosma. 1 run scores. Sandoval scores.
That's today at 3:30 with Damon and Ratto.
Yay!
On the Bay Area's sports station, 95.7 The Game.
Visit Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill September 23rd through September 25th for their fall clearance sale event and take advantage of one-of-a-kind opportunities. Visit Friedman's Appliance Fall Clearance Sale event for the best time to save on new appliances for your home.
Hey, Becky, what about this beat for your next song?
It's cool, but I'm into faster stuff lately, like Xfinity that gives me beyond gig speeds.
Got it. What about this then?
It sounds powerful, just like Xfinity. Because its supersonic Wi-Fi has 3 times the bandwidth, you can connect hundreds of devices at once.
That's what I call power.
Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Get the Xfinity Supersonic Bundle with unlimited gig speed internet, Wi-Fi equipment included, and a free 4K streaming box. All for $50 a month with a 2-year internet rate guarantee and no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Go to Xfinity.com/gig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay. New gigabit extra internet customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes wireless usage. After 24 months, regular rates apply. Requires compatible Xfinity gateway.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT. And make us your last stop.
Okay, guys, we got to put our trays up for takeoff.
Where's Dad?
Oh, he's in the back. We could only get 3 seats together.
Daddy has my pillow.
We'll get it later. Can you not put your feet up, please?
Why aren't we going?
We must be in line for takeoff.
Like security?
Well, that was a different line.
I have to go.
We just sat down.
But I have to go.
The seatbelt sign's on.
Why aren't we moving?
Hey, no kicking.
We're just 15th in line for takeoff.
Son of a...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Go RVing. Learn more at GoRVing.com.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you have a small business, Staples has your sign.
Banners for my bakery?
Staples has your sign.
Oh, posters for my new pet store.
Floor decals for a pharmacy.
Every day, Staples associates help every kind of small business create bold signs to make big impressions. And now get $10 off custom signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. This is your sign, so print it big at Staples. Ends 10/1. Visit staplesconnect.com/thisisyoursign for details.
Now, back to the morning roast with Bonte and Shasky.
Chicago Bears and Justin Fields, they feel like they found a quarterback.
Good for them.
But the Niners have a more dysfunctional franchise when it comes to quarterbacks. Not the Cleveland Browns, not the Chicago Bears, not the New York Jets, not the Detroit Lions, not the Minnesota Vikings. The 49ers do, with 3 Hall of Famers.
1981, Bonte. 1981. Great year for the Niners, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was like basically the first full season for Joe Montana starting. He was 3 years older than what Trey Lance is now. And just times were so different. Do you know what they started off the first week of the year? Do you know what happened?
Did they lose?
Yeah, they lost.
To who?
I think it was the Detroit Lions, I believe. I'm not mistaken. But they started off with a loss. I did some research last night. They started off 1-2 that year. From 1981 to 1989. Were those great years for the Niners?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Bill Walsh was the coach for all of those years except for 89. And I'm throwing that in there because, that's kind of the dynasty run for Montana, if you will. How many times do you think they started the year off 0-1? All those great years, winning his team in the 80s. How many
Probably
times?
a lot.
5 times they started their year off with an L.
Wow. And I remember when they beat the Bengals in Super Bowl 23.
5 times.
When they beat the Bengals in Super Bowl 23, they started the season 6-5. 6-5. Ended up winning the Super Bowl.
I'm not here to tell you that Kyle is Bill Walsh or that Trey Lance is Joe Montana. No, I'm not trying to say those things. But we all have to take a deep breath. You know, this team was 2-4 heading into Chicago last year?
Yep. And that was the game. The Deebo Samuel played a smoke screen where he goes 80-plus yards.
He had 175 yards in that game of receiving yards.
That was the game that saved the season.
130 on Yak.
Right. 130 on Yak. So that was the game John Lynch, that Saturday night, spoke to the team. And when we talked to John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers, he said that was the game to turn the season around. That was a game. That was a pivotal game because if Jimmy doesn't win that game back in his hometown, we're probably going to see Trey Lance at some point last season. They go to 2-5. We're seeing Trey Lance maybe week 7, week 8. It's all documented.
Well, and the thing
Shanahan was ready to make the move.
And the thing that I noticed when I was going back watching that game, Elijah Mitchell had over 120 yards in that game for the 49ers.
And we forget about that.
Deebo Samuel, like I said, the 130 yards of Yak. What I'm getting at was there other players stepped up in that game. Jimmy G had a really solid game. He didn't have any touchdowns throwing, but he ran for 2.
And I remember that game. They did drop a lot of passes.
They did.
For Jimmy.
They
dropped
did.
a lot of passes.
And Deebo in particular dropped one.
They lost it, but we, when people say Trey Lance looks like a high school quarterback or he's not ready to go, and we put so much stock into week 3 of the preseason against the Texans, how come we don't look at last season against the Texans? And a got-it-have-it game at Levi Stadium. You lose, your season's over. And what did Trey Lance do in that second half? He helped you win a football game. He helped you win a football game, and you look like an NFL quarterback. But we don't give him no credit for that.
But Bonte, let's take a step back.
We give him no credit for that.
Let's take a step back. Montana, Young, Garcia, Alex Smith, Kaepernick, Jimmy Garoppolo. We're always going to crush these guys when they lose. And Lance needs to, and I'm telling you this, Lance didn't have a great game in that one. And he needs to play better moving forward.
But he didn't have a bad game.
We can argue about that till we're blue in the face. But what I'm saying is that when you are the quarterback and when they move as much ammunition as they did, these scrutinies, these criticisms are
fair.
inherently going to be there.
It's fair.
Now, we were talking about how much draft capital. I see this a lot. You traded so much ammunition to get him. That's what I see a lot of for Trey Lance. They gave up 12-3. They flip-flopped. Then they gave up last year would have been the 31st overall pick. It's basically a second rounder. That's the same thing that you gave up for D Ford, basically. Basically. And we'll see what this year's draft pick is, okay? We'll see what it is. Josh Allen, and no one ever brings this up. The Bills had the 20-something pick. They traded a lineman, and they moved up to 12, giving away a second-round pick, giving away their first-round pick. Then they traded again and gave up multiple picks to move up to get Josh Allen. They traded twice and gave up way more overall picks than what the Niners gave up. No one brings it up today.
But if that's your guy, that's your guy. You got to do what you got to do. What did Kansas City move up to go get Pat Mahomes? They moved from 27 all the way to 13 to jump the New Orleans Saints to go get Mahomes. When you identify a guy, and Shanahan identified Trey Lance as his guy, you go up there and move ammunition. You do it because you believe that you're going to be good and those picks are going to be in the 20s. And you don't worry about those picks moving forward. Because another thing is, too, everybody's hell-bent on first-round picks. We're going to see what happens with Kinlaw. He's got a lot to prove. We're going to see what happens with Ayuk. He's got a lot to prove. But this regime has proven they can hit on picks. They can hit on picks in the middle rounds. They've proven that. In the NFL, you can find diamonds in the roughs, but you got to hit on these.
You got to win the quarterback.
You got to win the quarterback. No doubt about that. You got to
hit on this quarterback, and that's the most important. I think everybody's talking about Super Bowl window, and I see this a lot. My boy Richie, he's one of the biggest diehard Niner fans that I know. The entire Bologna family. We have a Super Bowl roster now. If you nail the quarterback,
the window's going to be open for a long time. It's going to be open for a long time. How many people said...
Tyreek Hill just left the Chiefs.
I know, and that window's still wide open.
It's wide open?
Wide open.
I mean, as long as Patrick Mahomes is breathing, they got a shot.
Charger fans have hope. Why? Because they got the quarterback.
And that's my point. Right now,
Cincinnati Bengals believe they're going to hoist Lombardi for the first time in franchise history. Why? Because they nailed the quarterback.
But they have to, this is where it comes Shanahan and Trey and everybody else involved. They've got to figure this out. This is super important. They have to figure it out. Why do we look at Seattle as we're kind of preparing for them this week? Why are we looking at them with like skepticism?
Because they have Geno Smith at quarterback, and we all don't believe in Geno Smith.
Absolutely. And now I'm fearful of them. I'm much more fearful of them than I was before that game.
Oh, yeah.
But part of why we believe Seattle every year, no matter how bad the roster was outside of him, they got Russ.
They have Russ.
They got Russ.
They've got Russ.
For years we said that. So look, it's inherent for the life of Shanahan and Lynch as the heads of the state for the 49ers. They got to nail this Trey Lance thing. And there's going to be some bumpy roads.
But you know what?
But they got to hit it.
But you know what? Again, Trey Lance went into the fourth quarter 8-13. Before he threw the pick, there was 6-12 on third down. And Steiny said something the other day where he's right. Throwing that pick there to Eddie Jackson, maybe you throw it into the ground. It's an incompletion. You punt it away, make the Bears drive.
It was a bad throw. It was a bad
That was the one throw we all said, okay, that was a bad throw.
The other one, Roquan got his hands on. The game was already
far. It was
so wet. And I'm not trying to. The reality is that I do think it was a big lesson learned in that game for everyone involved. Yep. But the most important thing for me watching that, I don't care if it was Jimmy or Trey Lance. The rest of the roster also has to play better.
Debo can't fumble. All right? McGlinchey has to make his blocks. And by the way, McGlinchey not helping his quarterback up or anybody off the ground, just sprint off the field. What the hell was that? What was that? Help your quarterback up. You got him destroyed by Dominic Robinson. Dominic Robinson, who said, hey, Mike McGlinchey and Trent Williams, they're tipping us off because of what they're doing with their legs on pass plays. They'll clean that up. They're veterans. Hopefully they clean that up against Seattle, and that could be a problem that they address. But the defense didn't play great in the second half. Everything has to come together for this football team to win football games, just like it did with Jimmy Garoppolo. You need a complete team effort. It's why the Green Bay Packers have only won one Super Bowl. Because they don't play complete team football. They don't.
Well, it's interesting. I'm watching the 49ers. I'm watching the game back. I got a sickness.
I watch it every day.
It does feel like the team is now a polar opposite of what they were in terms of what they're asking their quarterback to do. They ran the Jimmy G offense.
Right.
And he does hit a lot of the underneath stuff.
There wasn't a lot of use check in that offense on Sunday.
No, I agree. But what I'm saying is that it does feel like Lance will hit the over-the-top stuff, and he didn't hit really any of the underneath stuff. I've seen him a couple more of the underneath things. Just a couple more.
But you know what? Trey Lance is, and I'm not making an excuse for him. The Bears were all over the short stuff. They dropped 7, and they were all over the slants. They were all over the stick routes.
The irony is, so were the Rams, and the Packers, and the Cowboys in the final 3 games of the year last year.
But here's the difference: Trey can hit the over-the-top stuff. Jimmy couldn't, and that's why Trey Lance is playing quarterback. Let's be real. Jimmy Garoppolo's not making that throw to Juwan Jennings. He's not. We've had 5 years of evidence.
But what they need from Trey, it's not the Juwan Jennings throw. They know that
they need the underneath stuff.
They need more
of the underneath stuff.
You got to hit the screens.
Listen. The screens were not there.
And I do believe Kittle is the big missing element for this offense.
No doubt. But let's be honest. The Bears were blowing up those screens. They were blowing up those screens. Those screens look lifeless.
I know.
Lifeless. All right? And then what I like from Trey Lance, we didn't talk about this enough. The throw to Brandon Ayuk there in the fourth quarter on a slant route. Throw it high. Ayuk goes up against it, makes the tough catch. Trey Lance gets it in there. The Ross Dwelly play where he steps up in the pocket, it hits Ross Dwelly for a big first down on the same possession. He ends up throwing the interception to Eddie Jackson. So I thought he did hit the underneath stuff he was trying to, but I'm going to give the Bears credit defense. They dropped 7, and they said, we're taking away the middle of the field, and we're taking away the short stuff. Try to beat us over the top. That was it. That was that. So, did Trey Lance play bad? No. Did he play great? No. Was he okay? Yes. It was a good starting point for him. For the most part, though, I saw a quarterback who was not rattled at all. That was the biggest thing to me. He kept his composure. He looked poised, and I think you got to give credit for that. He did not look rattled in that football game.
We need to see more steps forward. Like, it's all about steps forward. We need more steps forward.
Damon brought this up yesterday. We're going to get some calls in just a second. David and JD Hawkhater, we'll get to you in just a second. In 2 to 3 starts for Trey Lance so far, he's ran the ball 13 or more times.
It's not, I don't like that game plan. I personally don't like that.
You want to say he ran the ball because of the monsoon? Well, last year against Arizona, why is he running the ball with all these quarterback design runs? He's a quarterback, not a running back. Let him play from the pocket and stop designing these. That's why you have running backs. That's why you have Deebo Samuel.
Well, they didn't have running backs in that game.
They didn't. But you know what? Jeff Wilson Jr. is on this roster for a reason.
Yeah.
And you gave him 9 carries. All right? Jordan Mason is up, dressed. Why is he not getting carries? I don't need to see my quarterback taking multiple shots left and right all game long like he did last year at Arizona. Hurt his knee against Arizona last year because he ran the ball so damn much. All right? He's going to get hurt with this type of game plan. You drafted him because you believe he could be a great pocket quarterback. Now let's see it from the pocket.
Well, it's not just how you're using him, it's who you're throwing the ball to and who you're utilizing. Again, to sit here and go, in the second half of that game, Jeff Wilson Jr. got twice the amount of touches than Ayuk and Deebo combined.
That's a problem.
Well, I pivot back to the coach.
Right.
And you could say, oh, well, there were plays to be had and Trey didn't hit them. Okay, I'll meet you halfway.
Right.
What about a couple of design plays for Ayuk?
I'm not going to lie. This is something I'm going to be monitoring moving forward. The Shanahan's ran RG3 into the ground.
So you're afraid he's going to run him into the ground?
It's something I'm looking at.
Okay.
I hope they learn their lesson from RG3. I really do. Too many carries on Sunday against the Chicago Bears. Shanahan has to be better. And that's one thing we haven't touched on. Shanahan, and I like Shanahan as a head coach. I do. I don't believe he's great yet. A lot of people say he's a genius. I'm not there yet with him.
I think he's really good.
He's a really good play caller.
I think he's really good.
But I'm not going to call him great yet. He got a pass for Super Bowl 54 from a lot of people. A lot of people gave him a pass, and we went straight to Jimmy Garoppolo. I was critical of Shanahan in the way he called that game. I did not think he called a good game. Mostert didn't carry the ball in the first quarter. How? He just ran for 200 yards against the Green Bay Packers. Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball 4 times in the last minute 49. Why? He got the ball in 3 timeouts at midfield, run the freaking football in that position, and don't let Mahomes touch it anymore. I thought he didn't have a great game. NFC Championship, we know about the sequence, the 4-play sequence that killed him against Chicago. 4-play sequence, right? You don't go for it on 4th and 1. You punt it away. Tart drops a pick. 30 yards later, Odell Beckham Jr., 45 yards later when you sack out a 15-yarder. But I don't think Shanahan had a great game in that one. I don't think he had a great game plan. Shanahan has to be better in how he uses Trey Lance. He has to. It's a big year for Shanahan.
I told you before the year, I actually think it's a bigger year for Shanahan than it is for Trey because Shanahan's the guy who's going to be leading Trey to the trough.
Exactly.
I mean, he's the guy who's the architect that I'm hoping to put him in the position.
Yep.
Didn't we say similar things about Andy Reid for a long time regarding Kyle Shanahan?
No doubt.
Clock management, end of game situations,
decision making,
winning the big one, even though we kind of dismiss all the little games or smaller games leading up to the big game.
The fact that Andy Reid made 4 straight NFC championships and 3 of them with James Thrash and Todd Pinkston as his starting wide receivers, he should get a badge of honor. He should get a medal for that.
But in real time, I don't think we looked at it that way.
No, we didn't.
I think we looked at him as a big choker.
Hey, Todd Pinkston was sinking ESPN 2K5. All right.
Here you go,
He
Spadoni.
And Freddie Mitchell.
He was. Freddie Mitchell in the slot. Freddie Mitchell's a great UCLA Bruin.
I don't know how many guys get opportunities to overcome that. Like Andy Reid's an outlier. He went a decade with the Philadelphia Eagles, and now he's a decade with the Kansas City Chiefs, it feels like. And he's going to coach as long as he wants, right? And he's had an opportunity to win with a variety of quarterbacks. I don't know if Shanahan's going to get that kind of a leash. I don't know if he's going to get that kind of longevity here. But the reality is he does need to tighten up some things.
He's got to tighten it up. All right, real quick before we take the calls. Real quick, Odyssey Sports First and Pod. New national NFL podcast hosted by Danny Parkins from The Score in Chicago and Andrew Filipponi, the fan in Pittsburgh. Take a pair of best friends separated by 500 miles, but united by their love of football. Give them a podcast and you get a First and Pod. Danny Parkins and Andrew Filipponi will get you ready for week 2 and with in-depth previews on every game. Give them 40 minutes and they'll give you the league. New episodes every Monday and Thursday. Follow First and Pod on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Let's go out to our man JD, the Hawk Hater and Sack. Then we'll get to David and Aaron in a second here. JD, hope to see you Sunday at the home opener against Seattle. What's happening, JD Hawk Hater?
Morning, fellas. And yeah, I'll definitely be there Sunday at the home opener. You have to be, it's tradition. But Bonte, I heard you ask, does anyone still hate the Seahawks? And when you say that on those airwaves, that's like putting out a bat signal for your boy. So I had to call in. And I don't care that Russell Wilson is gone. I've hated the Seattle Seahawks since the moment they joined the NFC West in 2002, whether it's Matt Hasselbeck and Sean Alexander, Tarvarius Jackson, Russell Wilson. I don't care. I cannot stand that team, whether it's Pete Carroll chomping his gum up and down the sidelines, whether it's those hideous jerseys. I don't care. I cannot stand Seattle. I cannot stand that belligerent, insufferable fan base that they have up there in the Pacific Northwest.
The 12s.
They will forever be known as the 2012. And you know what? The Seattle Seahawks fans and their team, they celebrated beating up on a bad 49ers team last decade for how many years? I'm looking forward to dancing on their graves going forward these next couple seasons.
I love that.
What a great call. Let me give you a name from the past who I couldn't stand.
I love that.
Lofi Tatupu.
Oh, he
remember
was great
him?
I do. He was great at USC, though. He was great at USC.
I hated him. Daryl Jackson?
Yeah, I couldn't stand him.
Some of those
Sean Alexander,
Mike Holmgren versions.
Matt Hasselbeck, Sean Alexander. I couldn't stand them. Who's the wide receivers they had? They had a couple wide receivers.
Daryl Jackson.
No, Daryl Jackson, but it was another guy.
Deion Branch?
Deion Branch for a second, but it was another guy they had. I just couldn't stand. I'll look it up
Golden
here.
Tate was one that I couldn't stand.
Golden Tate was just, oh my God. Thank God for Percy Harvin.
I told you guys that I'm old, and I still believe that the Rams would eventually turn back into our natural rival.
But they had to move back to L.A.
Yeah, agreed. But I still had those feelings for Seattle over the weekend because I'm like, I hate Russ so much.
Yeah.
But then seeing Pete Carroll celebrate, I hate him simultaneously. As long as Pete's there, I will hate Seattle.
I know a lot of Niner fans rooted for Seattle to beat Russell Wilson, but I was rooting for the Broncos. I wanted Seattle to lose that game so bad. And it's well within the fans' right to boo Russell Wilson. But you imagine us booing Joe Montana?
Well, no.
You imagine us booing, anybody who came back to town? Hold on, we got a message here. The Morning Roast. Who's the biggest rival? Oh, that's our Twitter poll. Sam Lubman was like adamant. Go to the Twitter poll. Who is the bigger rival for the 49ers right now? Seattle or L.A.? Go to the Morning Roast 957. Right now, we've been arguing about that for years. The Rams are close because of that NFC Championship game. And McVay. But Pete Carroll's still up there chewing his gum. And I guarantee you, Shasky, the minute you see him on the sideline, he's going to be on the hash marks doing this. Yeah, and he's going to have that long sleeve on with the walkie-talkie, and he has those dad shoes on.
I know.
What are those?
With the same color as their jerseys.
Yeah, always.
The Nike Monarchs.
The Monarchs.
I thought they were Sauconys or something.
No, those are called the Dad Barbecue ones.
Let's go to Aaron in Oakland, the Dad Barbecue ones.
Nate Burleson was the wide receiver you were thinking about.
No, not him. I'm telling you.
His dad's from Sunnydale.
All right, he is. That's why I've got to be cool.
Swampy
he called
D,
us. Remember, he called us? Yeah, you saw him at the barbershop.
Yeah.
Actually, David and Ediac. Then we'll get to Aaron. What's up, David? What's happening?
Hey guys, good morning. Bishop Boy, do you remember Kerry Wood?
Oh, yeah.
The Price pitcher for the Cubs?
Yeah, him and Mark Price.
The team ruined, the team ruined that guy. Okay, he had a lot going for him. Sadly, I have a feeling that the Niners, Kyle Shanahan specifically, is about to do the same thing with Trey Lance. Okay, the way they're using the guy, I don't think they're using him properly. I think they're putting him in a situation where he's eventually going to lose confidence in himself, and he's going to lose whatever progress he has made. Last year, he had the whole year. I don't know what they were doing with him, but this thing with his throwing motion and in the short pass, I can't believe that during the whole year they couldn't work with him trying to correct that. Why are they trying to correct that right now? It gives me the impression that Kyle Shanahan is kind of like, one of those TV chefs, okay? You see them cooking this really good dishes. They look real yummy. They look real good. But they didn't prepare the ingredients. They didn't season all the steaks or the chicken. Somebody else did. And with Shanahan, if you look at his history, most of the success he's had is with quarterbacks that somebody else has picked and somebody else has developed. It seems to me like he's really not developing Trey Lance the way that he should. The team has failed Trey Lance. I think he's the future of the team. But at this rate, they're probably going to ruin the guy.
DJ Hackett, by the way, is a wide receiver I'm thinking of. For some reason, I couldn't say DJ because everybody on the Comcast Business Text line trying to guess the wide receiver. We all know I hate Doug Baldwin. Can't stand him. But DJ Hackett's the guy.
I think it's...
Then they had Joe Jurevicius. Oh, my gosh.
It's a fair point to question whether, they're ruining the guy or not. Like, I get thinking that way. I don't love him running the way he is. Let me just take a step back. It's too early to make any sweeping indictments on what Shanahan's doing with Lance long term. But I understand being worried because I get worried. When Roquan landed on his shoulder, I was like, oh my God, that could separate his shoulder. That's how Alex Smith got hurt.
By the way, that play, Jeff Wilson Jr. completely whiffed on the Roquan Smith. You should see the blocks that the Niners whiffed on this Sunday.
Yeah, well, they were the number one ranked. PFF ranked them number one in
but
blocking.
ESPN had them 17th.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing I would say about the running.
Can I say this about Shanahan, too? Is it fair to say that quarterbacks have regressed under him? In San Francisco?
It feels like in San Francisco?
Jimmy Garoppolo has regressed under Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, boy.
Nick Mullins regressed under Kyle Shanahan.
I mean, Nick Mullins is like, we're talking about
so what? There was
a backup.
There was a segment of the fan base who thought he should start over Jimmy Garoppolo. We took a lot of calls on that, Chasky.
I don't know.
CJ Beathard.
How do you quantify that? Let me ask you how you quantify that.
Guys just not getting better, taking the next step.
Doesn't look the same.
Doesn't look the same. Like Jimmy Garoppolo, when he first came on the scene, looked like he could do no wrong. Looked like he could do no wrong. Is it fair to say that he regressed under Shanahan? And it's maybe not all Shanahan's fault.
Well, I would go back to what level could those guys go to athletically, cerebrally, that would make them be better players? Like maybe he got the most out of them and they kind of tapped out.
Did you ever believe that Jimmy could be the franchise quarterback of the 49ers?
Of course I did.
Yeah, I did too.
Of course I did. I do believe it's not either or. I think there's a combination of both of them. I think Shanahan and him and their relationship absolutely factors into it. Yeah. And I also think Jimmy Garoppolo's psyche or injury history, whatever you want to call it, that also factors into it.
No doubt. But that's something, I think it's a fair question, though.
It is fair.
It's a fair question because we want to see Trey go to the next. Because a lot of people give the Shanahan's credit for Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins played like 3 or 4 games under the Shanahan's. He really took off under McVay and Jay Gruden.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
He took off then. That was the Shanahan.
I saw a tweet last night, and this kind of brings us back to the Trey and Jimmy thing. As everybody's losing their mind, especially national media. Oh, my God, Jimmy should be the quarterback. Matt Nahigian, who's our program director, put this out there, and I started to think about it, and I want your opinion on it.
I saw the tweet. I know what you're talking about.
I will never, ever think differently about this. Bringing Jimmy Garoppolo back will stunt Trey Lance's growth. I don't want to hear that he is not the guy. He is the guy. It would be a distraction to anyone to have him there. In the end, the Niners will regret it. What's your opinion on that?
I told you yesterday, before we get back out to the lines, I told you yesterday. I couldn't help, but every TV timeout, my eyes shifted to the sideline to see where number 10 was. Every dead ball, or whenever they were in the huddle, I'd look to see where number 10 was standing. What is he doing during timeouts? Is he throwing the football? Is he playing catch? Is he talking to Trey? My eyes were fixated on Jimmy Garoppolo. I couldn't help it. What is Jimmy doing? Is he laughing? Is he smiling? Is he teaching? Is he educating? What is he doing?
See it.
I couldn't help it. And so the Niners are baking on their culture, which has been really good under Shanahan and John Lynch. This locker room did not break last year. They deserve a lot of credit for that. They were 3-5. Sky's fallen. You draft Jimmy Garoppolo's replacement. We're screaming for Trey Lance. And the locker room did not break. And they went on a memorable journey. That was a fun ride into the NFC Championship game. We lost a lot of years off our life because of that season.
Well, the margins were so thin down the stretch.
It was so thin down the stretch. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun at the end of the day. They're picking on their culture. And the noise is just think about your reaction when Jimmy Garoppolo restructured his contract to come back to San Francisco. It feels like, it does, and I've talked to people out of market about this. It feels like they did botch the Jimmy Garoppolo situation by bringing him back. It feels like just the whole all season, and I get the surgery compromise things. But there is going to be that noise no matter what, every single day, every single second. We said it. Every completion, every incompletion. Jimmy would have made that throw. Jimmy would have won that game.
But wouldn't we be doing that whether he was on the roster or not?
Not to this degree.
I would agree
Not to this degree. He's on the football team. And people are already ready to ask the question, should you bench Trey for Jimmy? It's already there.
I underestimated it. I did. I thought we could be patient for at least a couple weeks.
No,
I was wrong.
The Niners go to 0-2.
I was really wrong.
If the Niners go to 0-2,
I was really wrong.
I'm scared to do the show on Monday if they go to 0-2.
Well, if they go to 0-2, the season it's not, because technically you have so many weeks to recover. Yeah, it feels like
it's going to be panic time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a must-win game, and I know Dibbs is probably sitting somewhere, cocktail side.
It's a must-win game,
and he's going to say, "Joe, that's the stupidest thing you've ever said." No, in the NFL, this is a must-win game. And this feels like a very difficult game.
It's going to be a body bag game on Sunday.
Even with no Russ and no Bobby Wagner,
Dude.
why do I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring, one-possession game?
This is what we do know about Seattle. No matter how bad they are or how good they are, they're going to run out that tunnel at Levi Stadium with so much swagger.
And they're hitting hard.
Who's
guarding DK?
Or Tyler Lockett. They got Marquise Goodwin.
Oh, that guy.
In the slot.
Come on.
And they got some physical quarters. So
let me ask you this question. If they move, seeing how they've used him through one game, if they did move off Jimmy Garoppolo right now, do you think for this year, for this team, that's a good move? Team X wants Jimmy and you trade him away. Who cares what the compensation is?
I would rather keep Jimmy at this point because I don't know how Shanahan's
even if that maybe depreciates the locker room chemistry?
Because I just don't know how they're going to use Trey moving forward. Is he going to run the ball 10 times a game? Is he going to run the ball 8 times a game? This is insurance. And I get it, but you're inviting all the noise. So kind of contradictory. Like, you're having Jimmy here, and there's going to be some guys in there talk. Phil Simms joined us a couple weeks ago. You were out that day, and he said, look, Jeff Hostetler won the Super Bowl. I'd already won the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl MVP. Jeff Hostetler won the Super Bowl, moved on, and guys were still chirping. Boy, should we have kept Jeff over Phil? He said guys were talking about it in his face.
Well, I mean, Randy Cross talked about it to Steve Young. He was like, hey, I know that you're having a great year. You're not Joe Montana. Now, this is not that situation, but you're right. People say this.
You look at Deebo Samuel, who I watched walk off the field at halftime. Walked off. Everybody else ran off. Deebo Samuel walked off. You don't think Deebo Samuel's thinking to himself right now, man, I had 2 catches for 14 yards on 8 targets.
Well, he should also look in the mirror because he dropped 2.
He should, and he fumbled. He should. But you don't think we get to a point in the season where if Deebo, his numbers are down?
That's fair.
And he's going to be like, man, Jimmy got me paid. George Kittle saying,
that's fair.
Jimmy got me paid.
That's fair. There's a loyalty. I don't dismiss that at all.
You go to 0-2, that just intensifies, Shasky.
But I would ask the question, and I know there's a personal element. All these guys talk about his business. Can't they see the business aspect of this as well?
They can, but they don't care. They want to win.
Well, that's true.
There's a shelf life here. George Kittle doesn't have a lot of years left in his prime.
I mean, George Kittle better suit the hell up.
Deebo Samuel doesn't have a lot of years left in his prime with all the wear and tear. Trent Williams is 34 years old. 34 years old. You know what I'm saying? Bosa's got a contract looming. What if he's like, you know what? Maybe I want to take my talents elsewhere.
Let me ask you
I don't think it's going to happen.
You're talking about a lot of great players there. Great players who played great down the stretch. Which one of those guys had a great game?
None.
I know, because I know we're fixated on quarterback, and I get that.
That's why I can't blame Trey for the loss.
Like when I look at the game last year against Chicago, the one that they won, Deebo had a great game. The offensive line had a much better game in that game than they did this one. Mm-hmm. Elijah Mitchell had a great game. Ayuk made plays. Defensively, they sacked Justin Fields. So I'm
in the first quarter, though.
I'm asking out loud, who had a great game in this last one?
There's not many guys who had a great game.
I can't pinpoint. All of the hysteria.
Elijah Mitchell was on his way to a great game, I believe, until he got hurt.
But amidst all the hysteria about quarterback,
nobody had a great game. That's why I can't blame Trey.
The team needs,
Trey
needs to play better. I'm not taking anything on. When you're the quarterback and they've moved what they've moved to make you the quarterback, and the other guy's sitting there, you got to play better. But so do the other guys.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Let's go to Aaron in Oakland. Aaron in Oakland, you're on the roast. You're on 95.7 The Game.
Man, you guys are on today. You're saying everything that's floating around the back of my head. So let me say this. Shanahan is a systems coach, always has been, always will be, and that's part of the problem. I feel the buy-in is on Shanahan's system. That coaches put players in the game and players make plays. 12 penalties. That's a sign of tightening up on coaching needs to happen. And then the second level of this with Shanahan is he'll go away from what's working and he'll pretend like, yeah, we're going to try something else. He doesn't want someone else to outthink him. For me, it's ego. I went into this season looking at you guys, going, you guys are going to be the best team in the NFL. And then you kept Jimmy. I don't like that. That's a poison. It opens the door for distraction. And if you want a Super Bowl, you have every piece on the board. We're going to make this like chess. You have all your power pieces, and you need a good opening move. The brain that's moving the pieces is an offensive.
Oh, you cut out.
You got Debo. You got good players. You got everything you wanted. If they don't win, Shanahan needs to go, fellas. That's just it.
I'm not going there.
Yeah, I'm not there.
But I do feel, hey, Aaron, I do feel you on the heat for Shanahan. Go ahead, continue. I do feel you. He's not. We haven't talked much about Shanahan this week. You're right. He's got to be better.
He does. He has to put players in position. And the second piece of this, man, listen, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan telling you this. And I went into this year going, you guys were going to be my picks. You guys deserve it. And the way the recipe works in my head is you're adding Trey Lance to do what Jimmy couldn't do. You went to the NFC Championship last year. This should be what you need to get over the hump.
Yeah.
You guys made a heck of a point. Trey Lance, I'm worried about his development under Shanahan. Shanahan's not that type of. He's not doing that.
Yeah,
And by the way, Hufanga did have a great. Everybody talking about it. Comcast Business Excellence.
I forgot about
had a great game.
You're right.
He was unbelievable. Unbelievable in that football game.
Look, the question will be asked.
He's going to be on Damon and Ratto today. Hufanga.
Oh, nice.
How about that? I can't wait to listen to that.
I nominate he has top 5 hair in 49er history.
Oh, yeah. And I've been saying this. Strong safety is a very underrated position in the history of the 49ers.
McDonald.
Yeah. Ronnie, of course, and Lance Schulters. I love me some Lance Schulters. Tony Paris gets love here. Of course, Dante Whitner / Hittner.
The Hitman.
The Hitman. They've had some. And Tart was a good safety. Probably not on the levy for those, but he was a good safety.
He was
for
a
the
really
Niners.
good safety for a long time. It's an interesting point that someone's making here on YouTube. Whereas we talk about Shanahan, the development. Let's just say, hypothetically, we told the rest of the country it's Sean Payton as the coach developing Trey Lance. Why does I feel like we give more of the benefit of the doubt to Sean Payton, wouldn't we?
We would, but did he develop Drew Brees?
No, I'm not
You know
saying.
what I'm saying?
We can we can argue that till we're blue in the face.
Right. Sean Payton has a lot of playoff failures.
No, he's lost a lot at home.
At home.
Yeah.
In the dome. We're supposed to be a great home field advantage. Let's get back to the lines here. Let's go to Jonathan in the city. Jonathan, what's happening? We're here and you're there. Jonathan, you're on the roast.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I got a little question here. Hey, you think because of what we all saw with the Warriors last year, you think the 49ers are kind of doing the same thing in the sense that they're trying to bring this guy along, while trying to compete, which is a young guy. But the problem with the 49ers is they're trying to bring along a guy who's holding the most complicated position, the most important position. Unlike the Warriors, the 4 players were there to bring along the young guys, which the young guys were the role players, right?
Right.
And another thing, hey, you said must win, right? Yeah. Because if we lose this game against Seattle, and Seattle's one of the best dogs in the NFL together with the Pittsburgh Steelers, if we lose this game, Bonte and Shasky, man, we might be staring at 0-5 because competition is about to get ratcheted up.
Man.
The way the NFL season works, you always win a game you shouldn't and lose a game you shouldn't.
I know.
Well, they've already lost the game they shouldn't, but I have zero faith in them beating like a Kansas City. Like, get out of here with that.
Right. Well, he says 0-5. You don't win this game. Now you're staring at Denver on Sunday Night Football in Denver. And then you come back and you play the Rams at home. And they must like I love the NFL, man. Look, the Niners' schedule is stacked this year, and they've got to. He's right. It's going to ratchet up the schedule.
Who's more of a situational critical as you look around the NFC West this morning? Is it McVay and Stafford?
Well, they play the Falcons. I think they're going to beat the Falcons.
No, I'm just talking about after a Week 1 performance.
Oh, well, they lost to the best team in football, possibly in the Buffalo Bills.
They did look completely outclassed.
But the Buffalo Bills,
I agree.
They're the top team in the league right now.
But you are the Super Bowl champs, and you had the guy who won the Super Bowl last year, quarterback.
You lost a lot.
Who's a veteran. And then you got Kyler Murray, who got paid $250 million, and you got him and Cliff, who's I don't know what's going on down there.
You know who they played this week?
Well, they played the Chiefs.
They played the Raiders this week in Vegas.
Oh.
It's a big game for the Cardinals and Raiders. Game. That's huge. I love the NFL,
look,
man.
Just by keeping pace, the Niners have to win this game.
They have to. They have to. And 408 Comcast Business Text Line. Don't sleep on Jeff Fuller and Carlton Williamson. You're absolutely right. Great safeties, strong safeties for the 49ers. Let's go to Ian San Jose before we hit the break. Ian San Jose, what's happening?
Hey, gentlemen, good morning. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about not so much the high-level stuff. I think that stuff Kyle's actually got pretty down. But what he needs to do is he needs to prepare this team to play in spots where they might need to go no cadence. It was pretty obvious they couldn't handle the weather, they couldn't handle the noise, and put those two things together with a rookie quarterback in quotations.
Yeah.
And that's very basic level stuff that I learned as a center on like the third practice. Like, hey guys, if we get into a position where we got to no cadence, just watch the damn ball. Thank you guys. I'll take my.
No, it's such a good point. It's such a good point. They looked so unprepared for everything. The elements, the quarterback struggling a little.
Which is weird because they have a team built for the elements.
Mobile quarterback that they went up against.
Last year, he ran for 103 yards. You had to know what was coming.
You told me you had 17 zillion running backs and one went down and you were just like, done.
Now you got Marlon Mack in the building.
And it's just,
just like that.
It's
just
crazy.
Like that.
You know what's funny? I was playing Madden yesterday and I was looking at the roster for the 49ers. And if you're not a video game player, this might not make sense to you. But Trent Williams is a 99, right?
Right.
McGlinchey's a 79, just to show you the difference in ratings.
Right.
Jake Brendel was a 60.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. I mean,
now that doesn't mean anything for the regular season, but it just goes to show you.
Where's Aaron Banks?
Aaron Banks is like a 68.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, the Niners essentially have three guys in Madden ranked in the 60s starting on their offensive line.
And Mike McGlinchey is probably overrated at 79.
But PFF said they had the number one rating this week.
ESPN says 17. Which one is it?
It's more close to 17 than it is to 1.
Well, you heard Baldy yesterday on the Morning Roast. He joins us every single Tuesday at 7:30. Look, I respect PFF. You know how Baldy says it, but I didn't see the number one offensive line in San Francisco. I was at Soldier Field. I didn't see the number one offensive line. Trey Lance is dancing in the pocket damn near every play.
Outside of a playoff game or a game to qualify for the playoffs, why does this feel like the biggest game of the Shanahan era? I can't believe I'm saying
the Seahawks game? This is a monster game.
It feels
I've been losing sleep.
humongous.
I've been losing sleep about this. We're going to be at Levi Stadium, and the Seahawks are going to trot out, and Toes are going to be out there. This is a divisional game. And the Seahawks are saying, we just beat the Broncos, and we're 9-point underdogs? You know Pete Carroll's going to play that up in Seattle.
Well, the only thing that we've got going for ourselves, hopefully they blew an emotional wad, and there's a little letdown. That's the only thing
They're not letting down against the 49ers, Shasky. The Seattle Seahawks are not letting down against the 49ers.
The UOP coach, the Marin County kid.
Oh, this is a big game.
Chewing that gum.
This is a monster game, dude.
How many Cialis commercials are they going to be able to cut off just the B-roll of Pete Carroll up and down the sideline?
Oh, man. Dave Stewart, 8:30. Dave Stewart, 8:30 here on the Roast.
That was a great call.
You know what time it is.
It's time for the injury report.
It really hurts.
Brought to you by Boxer and Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years.
It's a big game on Sunday against Seattle. I don't think people are. It's a big game. Home opener. Seattle's feeling good. DK's going to be barking. It's going to be a hard-hitting football game, but now it's time for the injury report, sponsored by Boxer and Gerson Law Firm. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott underwent successful surgery to stabilize his fractured right thumb on Tuesday. The initial belief is that Prescott should be back on the field between weeks 8 and 10. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was more optimistic, talking about Dak's status, saying on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas yesterday that he expects Dak to be back and throwing within the next 4 games. When explaining why he expects Prescott to be back so soon, Jones said, "That's not being optimistic. That's us having good surgery." Cowboys are never winning anything under Jerry Jones ever again. I promise you that. Unless they hire Sean Payton and fix something. But, Mike McCarthy hired that guy, Jerry Jones. He's senile. The dude is legit senile. He's cooked.
I feel bad for our friends RJ and Shan.
Do you really?
Not really.
Yeah, all right. The injury report brought to you by Boxer and Gerson, Northern California's premier workers' compensation law firm, helping injured workers get their lives back for over 40 years. What's coming up on the game, sponsored by Fremont Bank, Full Service Banking. No compromises. More of your phone calls. It's Seattle week.
And I have weather update.
Oh, boy. That's coming up on the roast.
Today, 49ers safety Talanoa Hufanga joins Damon and Ratto after his breakout game.
Bears bring only 4. Fields given time. He gets picked off by Hufanga. Hufanga picks him off field.
Hear a 49ers player every Wednesday with Damon and Ratto.
Talanoa Hufanga had a great game.
Sponsored by Harris Ranch Beef. Legendary beef, legendary quality.
Hufanga! Kirby, they're your driveway mechanic, and they bring the shop to you. Brakes and tire replacements, oil changes, so much more. And they just added this eco-friendly wash. It barely uses any water and still makes your car look brand new. The ultimate convenience, easy booking, transparent pricing, on-time arrival, service in your driveway. No waiting rooms, no coordinating rides, direct access to your mechanic, friendly, reliable service, no middlemen, no upsells. Get $50 off your first oil change with the code OIL50. That's OIL50. Check out Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month, with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 9/21/22. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Pink Floyd's Roger Waters. This is not a drill.
We're doing a show in the round. It's something new. I'll look forward to the challenge.
Featuring his songs from the golden era of Pink Floyd. Friday and Saturday, September 23rd and 24th, Chase Center in San Francisco. Tickets on sale now at RogerWaters.com.
This is not a drill.
Produced by AEG Presents.
Are you looking for a rewarding new career? Join the United States Postal Service and apply for roles nationwide. Serve your community with pride and receive benefits including competitive pay and opportunities for advancement. Whether you are looking for full-time, part-time, or seasonal positions, we have options that may be perfect for you. The United States Postal Service is an equal opportunity employer. Apply now at USPS.com/careers.
Whether you're buying a new car or used one, it's a big investment, which is why you should choose Pennzoil Platinum. It helps extend the life of your engine and protect it up to 15 years or 500,000 miles, whichever comes first, guaranteed. That's because Pennzoil's base oil is made from natural gas and 99.5% free from engine clogging impurities. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Enrollment required. Keep your receipts. Other conditions apply. See Pennzoil.com/warranty for full details. Find it at Firestone Complete Auto Care.
As you know, sports teams plan well ahead of the next season. If you're thinking of remodeling your home, consider the same strategy. Talk with your designer or builder now about your next project. Golden State Window and Door has new inventory coming online. Milgard, Anderson, and Marvin. See Golden State Window and Door's wide variety of accessories at convenient showrooms across the Bay Area or GoldenStateLumber.com. Since 1954, Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Okay, you know those amazing spots only the true San Francisco locals are in on? Like Square Pretzels. That place with the square pizzas? Or Mama Hoo Hoo? The spot for sweet and sour chicken that's anything but so-so. Order up! You know, with the Granch dressing. And all the other spots the real SF locals know without us even saying them. Yeah, they're on DoorDash. San Francisco gets it. DoorDash has it.
Some fans gear up for game day, but some fans follow their team every day. That's why the Locked On Podcast Network has a daily podcast for your favorite NFL team. Every trade, every overtime win, every game. Our local experts cover the biggest stories around your team every day. Search Locked On plus your favorite NFL team on the Odyssey app or wherever you get podcasts. The Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Parents, are you tired of helping put your kids' shoes on? They're squirming, watching cartoons, anything but helping. Luckily, it's Skechers to the rescue. Introducing new hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Footwear you can just get your kids to step into and their shoes are on. You don't need to bend over. You don't need to sit on the floor and try to wrangle them on. And they're available in all types of Skechers styles with and without laces, and most are machine washable. Find Skechers slip-ins for kids or mom and dad at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish shoes are sold.
TrackPhone wants to know, are you an influencer? A big live streamer? No? Then guess what? You don't need an endless data plan. Get just the right amount of data with TrackPhone's $40 unlimited talk and text smartphone plan. Now with 8 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited carryover on America's largest, most dependable network, now with 5G. Get the data you need at the price you want. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's time to wake up with a nice cup of morning roast.
Oh, yeah.
Featuring Bonte Hill and Joe Shesky.
Well, I'm about that action, boss.
Take him out! This is the morning roast on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, baby, what a show. It's Wednesday. It's Seahawks week. Good morning, roast rolls along as we say good morning to everybody out there. Shout out to YouTube, always holding it down. Shout out to Twitch, always holding it down. Shout out to the Comcast Business Text Line, always involved with the show. Good morning to everybody getting off the graveyard shifts. You're out there getting ready for work on the roadways. Drive safely, folks. Drive safely. If you're at work listening to us via the Odyssey app, we thank you for that. Been a lot of fun, man. Football season's fun. Then we got the Warriors at training camp coming along in 10 days. What is it, 9 days? Training camp's going to be around. We're going to be talking about the Warriors. That's why whenever I say about the Giants, like, and I know it's a little hyperbolic, Shasky, and me to say they're the 15th topic in the Bay Area. It's hyperbolic. However, just look at the 49ers alone. We've got about 15 different things to talk about with the Niners alone. And then you look at the Golden State Warriors. Jordan Poole's going to have to get paid. Andrew Wiggins is going to be a free agent. What's going to happen with Draymond Green? Klay Thompson's coming back. What's going to happen with the youngsters and Kuminga and Moody and James Wiseman? There's so much going on in the Bay right now. It's on fire. Sports scene out here in the Bay is on fire.
I want to ask you a legit question here. Joe,
are all your questions legit?
Well, this one I think is like very fascinating to me.
The top.
Joe and Steve. I vividly remember driving around in my car with my dad when Pigskin Pete would predict. Pete Franklin, who helped Godfather Sports Talk Radio out in this market.
Doubt.
And I remember when he would take calls, and Radnich back in the day, Ralph at night. I remember Joe and Steve. And it wasn't even a 24-hour sports channel. Back then, it was, some daytime and evening programming for Sports Talk. Mm-hmm. Do you remember those days?
I do.
Okay, we had...
like it was yesterday.
7, 5, 4, and 2. Those were the channels.
Right.
And then you had the UHV or whatever it was.
Marky Banez on Channel 2.
Exactly.
Wayne Walker on Channel 5.
And
Martin Wyatt on Channel 7.
I'm not saying that the story now is bigger than then, because that's Hall of Famer replacing Hall of Famer, 4-time champion, etc. The Hall of Fame coach who brought him in. Like, there's layers to this. I'm talking about the fervor and the chatter and the talk. In my sports life, the only thing I can think of where it's 24/7, 365 is KD joining the Warriors.
Yeah.
That's where we're at with Trey and Jimmy.
Oh, there's no doubt. It's the number one story across the league, across the nation. It's the number one story. We saw a headline today with Kimberly Martin on ESPN. Mm-hmm. She works very, very hard. Is Trey Lance built for long-term success? And they throw up the completion percentage through his first 3 games. And I was like, wow, we're already doing this with Trey Lance. I'll say this. This has already superseded Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, no doubt.
Not even close. I think it's blown it away.
Well, and so think about this. Like, even back then, that was, 11 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Was Twitter as big as it is now?
No.
Was Instagram even anywhere near as big as it?
Close.
Facebook.
Nope.
Okay. Now think about how many podcasts there are and how many content creators there are now that weren't even around just 10 years ago.
Yep.
Okay. Think about how this beast feeds itself on an hourly cycle. I mean, something that happens in the morning is dead news by noon.
Yep. I mean, Guru always talks about 2 different scoreboards. There's a scoreboard for the win-loss, and then there's the player scoreboard.
Oh.
He always says this, and it's true. It's like with the Warriors, right? If the Warriors win, how did Steph play? Did Steph have a good game? Did he, quote-unquote, carry the team? Because all the narratives...
Goo is about his touches.
He is about his touches. He is the Russell Westbrook of the station, no doubt about it. He's going to turn the ball over 10 times, but he may drop you a triple-double. That's just who Goo is. He'll get the MVP award.
Monte, help me.
That was a classic show. When you look at Steph Curry, the Finals MVP talk, remember how the narrative was, Finals MVP, Finals MVP, Finals MVP. Like, in a lot of people's minds, we're in Boston. That was the first thing they said. Well, can Steph Curry win a championship on his own? That was everybody's number one question. And he finally got that done. And it killed that narrative. Now they're going to find up a new one. They're going to cook something up. I'm sure Nick Wright will. I'm sure Cowher will. The Warriors.
Well, they had an 11% chance of beating the Celtics.
Yeah, 13% or something like that. And then 2 weeks after they win the championship, 2 weeks after we were parading down Market Street, the new narrative was, they need to blow up to go get Kevin Durant. They need to get Kevin Durant to go back-to-back. They got to blow this up. Blah, 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 blah. But there's going to be a different scoreboard for Trey Lance all the time. They may beat the Seahawks 13-10 on Sunday. But if Trey goes 11-26 for $125 and an interception against a division rival.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be the boo birds, the criticisms. It's going to be there, B.
It's going to be there. It's going to be there all season long.
What I'm noticing, and I brought this up during the offseason, and I think some people agreed with me. I think a lot of people were like, Joe, you're a Niner homer, and you're being kind of like too caught in the bubble. 49er quarterback. That name right there, boom, 49er quarterback. Is that a national entity that generates clicks?
It does. It does.
I underestimated it.
I mean,
maybe I undersold it. Is it a top 5 talking point? Like right now, just looking in the NFL, it feels like a top 5 talking point for every market.
Because the 49ers were good again. If the 49ers weren't good as a team, nobody would care. Nobody would care. Like, do we care about the Jets quarterback controversies when they were 4-12?
No.
Or 4-13? Nobody cares.
No.
Think about Chicago. That's a major market. How much do we talk about the Chicago Bear quarterbacks?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. That's a top 5 major market. It's the Chicago Bears, a national brand.
I know. It does feel like an afterthought. That's a good point.
It feels like an afterthought. There is something with the 49ers at quarterbacks. And, we're going to take some calls here about this. And every day somebody's going to ask a question. Should they play Jimmy Garoppolo? It's going to be asked.
Well, and the other thing is, I think from an audience standpoint, I'm gonna admit this. Both hands in the air. Bonte, I get fatigued by it.
Yeah, we all do.
And I'm paid to talk about it, and I get fatigued. So I know there's a segment of the audience that's fatigued as well. He's not playing. Trey is. Why do you bring it up? Da-da-da-da.
But again.
Because it's nonstop.
But again, I'm fatigued by it. I was fatigued by Jimmy Garoppolo talk, and he restructures the deal. And I'm at the game, Shasky, Soldier Field. I kid you not.
And you couldn't stop looking.
Every dead ball. I'm looking at Jimmy Garoppolo. What is he doing? Oh, he's throwing a pass to Trey Lance. Is he going to Trey Lance and sitting on the bench? Sometimes he did, sometimes he didn't. Where is he standing? Is he next to Shanahan? Oh, he was next to somebody who was inactive. So, it was fascinating because he's on the football team. He's there.
Can I ask you a question about the sidelines? Because this is something I want to monitor this weekend. When Jimmy and Kyle would struggle at any point, I never saw Kyle go over and leave the main spot on the sideline.
You didn't
out
do that.
front
I didn't see that.
And sit down with Jimmy.
Yeah.
And that was one of my big, not criticisms, but questions. Like Tom Moore. The image in my head is Tom Moore
next to Peyton.
It's Josh McDaniels next to Tom Brady.
Yep.
So I'm
Bruce Arians next to Ben Roethlisberger.
Exactly. So I'm asking out loud because you keep asking about Kyle Shanahan and the quarterback, and Kyle Shanahan the quarterback. He's the architect.
McVay next to Goff. McVay next to Stafford.
I don't see Andy Reid standing next to Pat Mahomes a lot. That's not an image that's in my head.
Not anymore. But there was a lot.
Okay,
early on to Mahomes, he would have the Surface. I've been a Microsoft Surface, and he'd be next to Mahomes.
Okay. Does being the head coach, does that take away from maybe his one-on-one with the quarterback because he's got to kind of oversee everything that's going on?
Maybe, but McVay still makes time to go talk to his quarterbacks. I did not see Shanahan go over to Trey Lance. It was a lot of Brian Greasy.
Okay, so
it was
you
a lot
saw
of Brian Greasy. I saw Greasy.
Where was Anthony Lynn? Up in the booth?
No, Anthony Lynn was on the sideline.
He was also
there on the sideline.
Yep. Interesting. And I'm not questioning it. I'm just asking out loud because you're asking me about the relationship. You're asking me about development, about getting better. Part of that is the sideline conversations and adjusting mid-game based off what you're seeing.
I would like to see Shanahan talk more to Trey Lance like I would like to see him talk more to Jimmy Garoppolo when he's a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I didn't see a lot of that.
Well, and I think one of my
But we see that with McVay a lot. Even Kingsbury. Don't you see Kingsbury talking to Kyler?
But you have to. Look at Tom Brady has forgotten more about football than we'll ever know. Yet he's still over there with the coach, looking at it, trying to work together.
He's always with Byron Leftwich.
Exactly.
They're always talking.
And I'm not saying that you have to or have to not do it, but I do think that looking at it and working together, there's something there. I do believe there's something there. And one of my criticisms during the Harbaugh Kaepernick era, it felt like Cap was just sitting on the sidelines and no one was working with him.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then I questioned, well, wait a minute, we're a couple years in. Why is he getting better?
Right.
And I'm not saying that you can only get better in game. You can get better at practice.
Right.
But there's part of the in-game adjustment that I do like to hear that dialogue.
Yeah, and I don't see a lot of that. That's a very, very fair point.
I'm just asking out loud.
No, I
don't know, and I don't even know if that's fair.
I would like to see Shanahan with his handpicked quarterback. I would. You see McVay all the time with his quarterbacks. You see all the great ones with their offensive coordinator.
I mean, the images of Joe Montana picking up that phone and talking up into the booth
with Mike Holmgren,
of Steve Young standing on the sidelines,
or
where Holmgren's got his arm around him,
or the greatest image during the Bill Walsh era. Montana and Walsh drawing up plays in the grass together.
Working together, yes.
I want to see a little more Shanahan with Trey.
I got a little worried. It's one image. I'm not trying to overblow it, but when I saw him screaming, yelling to the mic about get the damn play in on Trey, I was like, uh-oh.
But Trey handled it, though.
Worried.
Trey handled it, though.
But I can understand. Creative tension's okay.
Right.
I'm not saying it's...
Right, no doubt.
It's just, if that's a continuation throughout the year, then maybe there is a little something there.
But we can't act like Shanahan has had trouble calling plays and they're rushing up to the line,
you're right.
burning time out to the play clock
that.
running down. Let's go to Dave at Fresno. Dave, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, good morning, guys. All this noise, the 49ers invited it.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have known, it's going to be there, unfortunately. And I'm kind of like laughing at the notion that, like, okay, Trey struggles, go to Jimmy, but what do you have when you go to Jimmy? I get it. When he starts, the team somehow magically wins. I can't explain it. It's a weird. But if you look at the game on Sunday, that's just another day at the office for Jimmy. Look at that stat line. 10 for whatever, for a $1.42. That's a Jimmy game.
I agree.
So all you fans screaming for Jimmy like he's the savior, I'm sorry, because look at all his playoff games. They've been really pedestrian. There's a reason they traded all these picks for a quarterback. And the Niners, you have to roll with Trey no matter what. You traded all these picks. You had this Super Bowl made team. You just have to use those picks to get a quarterback. If you felt Jimmy was the guy that get you over the hump, you could have used those picks and traded for a corner. Who knows? You could have did something else. You traded for the picks. He was raw. You knew that at the time. So the fans, everybody, I don't even want to hear the word Jimmy because they made this move. They made their bed. They got to lay with it. They're trying to have this ex-girlfriend still stay with them in the house while they got this new wife. It's a weird situation.
Yeah.
But it's just like this notion that, okay, are you automatically go to Jimmy, that's going to solve everything.
Right.
That's just ridiculous.
Well, you know what, Shasky, to that point, because I'm looking at a text here at Comcast Business text line 650. Bonte, Kyle has low emotional intelligence. He is not composed on the sidelines and the team takes his lead with terrible penalties. I think if the season goes awry and again the train goes off the tracks and the Niners stumble into 7-10, I think by the end of the year, people will really be looking at Kyle Shanahan saying, is he the right guy for the job? I'm not saying fire him. I don't think we're even close to that. I don't think his seat is hot at all. I don't even think it's lukewarm. But I think if this season goes awry and Trey doesn't get better and the Niners don't make the playoffs, we're going to look a lot of people are going to look at Shanahan saying, we don't know if he's the guy anymore. We don't know if he really knows what he's doing when it comes to selecting quarterbacks. We don't even know if Kyle... That's how people are going to. That's going to be the perception of Kyle Shanahan. Whether or not he can be that quarterback guru, whether or not he knows what a great quarterback is, that's going to be the deal.
So let's play this out just hypothetically, because let's say, because I see a lot of people, we're supposed to win now. Well, they haven't won anything yet. All right, and I've talked to you about this. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the league. They've got one Super Bowl. In 4 straight years, they've been one of the best teams in the league.
You know what?
No, just hear me out.
You know what?
Hear me
They've
out.
got a Super Bowl.
No, I know. Which we don't. Let's say you play Jimmy this year, okay? And you don't win the Super Bowl. And now what? Because that's the thing I don't think people are looking beyond.
Yeah, and now...
Now what? So then next year, the exact same questions that you're having right now about Trey...
we're going to have
next year. So the where I'm going at with this is development in real time sometimes is ugly.
Yep.
And Camilo Duvall was going through this as a closer. We saw Jordan Poole go through this as a player in basketball.
There's no doubt.
And we see quarterbacks. Very few hit the ground the way Patrick Mahomes did.
Kevon Looney, everybody loves him now. How long did it take for Kevon Looney to become a big piece of the puzzle for the Golden State Warriors?
There were times I didn't think he was an NBA player.
And now
the same thing can be said for Jordan Poole.
And now we were begging for the Warriors to re-sign him. Begging.
I know. Well, look at Andrew Wiggins. Like, who thought Andrew Wiggins would end up being this? No, I don't think it's fair because they've got the great elixir in Steph Curry where everything just feels right around him. The Niners don't have that guy in terms of the offensive, straw that stirs the drink. Like Mahomes, you could throw a lot of guys in that offense, and I'm sure they will look great because he's that good.
But here's the other deal, the other piece of the puzzle here when it comes to developing Trey Lance. They brought in Brian Griese. to be the quarterback coach.
Which I like. I liked him. I saw him at practice. I was looking at what he was doing. It felt like he was really teaching and learning, or teaching him the game.
This is his first year on the job. And stylistically, Trey's a lot different from what Brian Griese was. Stylistically. So then we're going to look at the hire saying...
That's a good point.
You know, we're going to look at the hire saying, well, is he the right quarterback coach? Is he the right guy to be teaching Trey? I think Brian Griese was a solid pro. I'm not going to say good.
Yeah.
He was solid for Denver. He was serviceable.
Yeah, but Andy Reid's template because he was an alignment at BYU, what his template was for a quarterback isn't necessarily what Mahomes is. Right?
No doubt.
I mean,
but he did work with Brett Favre, who was more mobile than a lot of people give him credit for. By the way, Brett Favre, see what he's into?
I don't want to talk about him. I think he's a bad person.
Jeff Pearlman wrote a book on him, and he's telling people, take my book out of the libraries, burn the book, and don't ever read it again.
He essentially took money that should have gone to real people in despair and that were going through real issues, and he illegally took a bunch of funded money. It's just really disgusting. I kind of don't want to get into it because Brett Favre seems like a horrible person.
Right. Oh, where's the King of the Hill? Ernie. We'll bring King of the Hill back tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll bring King of the Hill back. Oh, where are the Niners going to be ranked after their week 1 loss to the Chicago Bears? Will they be in the top 7? That's a tease. Let's go to Scott in Livermore. Scott, what's happening? You're on the Morning Roast here on 95.7 The Game.
What's happening, my guys? Happy Wednesday. Game season, game Sunday is close enough.
Yep.
Couple quick points. I can take my comments off the air unless you got time to just chat all day, but I understand.
It's kind of the show.
Last week didn't get on the air, but you know I had concerns about the grass. Why are the Niners always getting to play a team with brand new grass? I was concerned there was going to be injuries. I know it necessarily wasn't the grass that caused it, but now Elijah's out for 8 weeks? I don't know. It just seems like a pattern. And then the whole Jimmy and Trey thing, you know, I called him last year. Whether you like, I'm not comparing either to Joe Montana or Steve Young, but it's the exact same situation. Steve thought Joe was going, and all of a sudden he comes back. And then there's quarterback controversy. We're kind of in that stage right now. Yes, Trey is leading the helm. Jimmy Garoppolo, my guy called it earlier, and you know, he was talking about the girlfriend thing. It's the exact same thing I was going to say. He's like the ex-girlfriend. If he's texting, it just won't go away. Half your friends are telling him, I'll go back to her. You know, so he's there, so his insurance, you know, you can probably see Kyle looking over his shoulder every now and again, but should I do it? I don't think so. Trey, you know, he played in the monsoon, and we're judging him on his completion percentage. You got to do the little things before you can do the big things. The little things I saw him scrambling, getting great first downs. He made some great passes. Yes, it was his first official game at the start of this year in the worst possible weather situation you could imagine.
Well, and we spent all offseason, and I don't mean to cut you off, but we spent all offseason. He just has to do very little. The team can carry him. And then in game 1, he's got to carry him.
Yeah, I know.
It was like an instant pivot.
What it is, Scott, too, and Scott, I want you to finish your point.
Scott.
I want you to finish your point. Scott, go ahead, finish your point. Now I'll have some thoughts after the call. Scott, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying, I mean, people are freaking out. Trey's going to be fine.
I agree.
Trey's going to do good.
I agree.
How many times did he get those first downs? It's like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and he made those scrambles. You know what would have happened with Jimmy? Jimmy would have chucked the ball up there for a pick six or took a sack.
I agree.
I love that Trey is mobile, that he can move, and he makes those decisions. He's not undecisive like Jimmy. So we're going to be fine. All the haters out there calling for Jimmy, man, put an egg in your shoe and beat it. Get out of here.
Oh, that's a great finish to that call. Great finish. And the offensive line.
Make like a tree and leave?
Yeah.
Back to the Future?
I love Back to the Future was on over the weekend, man. Great trilogy.
Thank you. I was going to say,
an all-time bully character.
If you
Biff
slandered Biff Tannen, I was going to lose my mind.
No, dude, Back to the Future may be the best trilogy ever.
Well, Star Wars.
No, it's better than Star Wars.
Back to the Future is one of those movies
Lord of the
where
Rings sucks.
if it's on just randomly on AMC
I
or
will
something,
watch it.
8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you know,
Doesn't
I got to
matter.
finish it.
Doesn't matter what scene. You know exactly where they're picking up from.
There's one swear word in the whole thing, and they change it for TBS, and you're like, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And they say something else.
Right.
Every time that comes on, I happen to be watching it. And then I have to watch it to completion.
408 Comcast Business Text line. Is Brian Griese on the sidelines talking to Trey during games? Yes, he is. Brian Griese was on the sidelines week 1 against the Chicago Bears, and this is something we talked about too. Trey Lance is entering this lineup, starting with this lineup. The offensive line is worse than it was a season ago. It's worse.
Which is really, it's frustrating because when you have a quarterback on a rookie wage scale, the whole concept of team building is to have a lot of not bloated, but a lot of money can be spent in other areas so that you can have the excellent offensive line. You know, part of the Mahomes thing, once they paid him, they're like, oh, we got to rework this offensive line and make it a little cheaper.
Right. No doubt. But then they've invested back into the offensive line after getting beat up in the Super Bowl by Tampa Bay, and they moved off of Tyreek Hill.
There you go. See, it's a pick and choose. It's like a Jenga. You got to pull one out to put one back in. So when you have the quarterback on the rookie scale, that's why the Chargers went out and got Khalil Mack.
Right, exactly.
They're like, gosh. You know what? We need to improve our defense.
Did you see Baldy's breakdown on Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa?
Yeah, they look unstoppable.
Yes. They're coming to Levi Stadium this year. That's a scary, scary sight. Damn, Derek Carr was running for his life.
Speaking of coaches that want to coach out of wins,
Brandon Staley.
I'm out on Brandon Staley.
Oh my gosh, he is out of control.
I'm smarter than you.
Let's go to Pat Paul real quick in the city. Pat Paul, what's happening? You're on the roast.
What's going on, Vontae, man? How you doing?
Oh, good. What's up, Big P? Double P?
What's going on? I had to call in, man, because I was listening to you guys this morning. I believe, in my opinion, Trey Lance will be fine. You know what I mean? Going forward, Trey Lance is going to be okay. The person that I'm concerned about being better is Kyle Shanahan. As I watch that game, we're in a monsoon. It's a freaking rainstorm. It's coming down like crazy. How many times did we run outside zone? How many times did we run stretch? How many times were we east-west and not north and south?
Great point.
With Deebo Samuel coming around the corner, trying to get his footing to turn the corner. But when we ran north-south with Elijah Mitchell, when we ran north-south with Jeff Wilson, we were getting 3-4 yards a pop. You got to be able to coach in those kind of atmospheres, because at the end of the day, we're running freaking stretch outside zone coming around. How many times did Trey Lance hand the ball off with his back to the line of scrimmage with them going east-west? You can't run that kind of an offense in that kind of condition. You have to be better. You have to be a better coach to help Trey Lance.
I'm with you.
Get 3-4 yards a pop and be 3rd and 2 rather than 3rd and 9 because you're running east-west all game.
Yeah, I mean, that's such a great point. One of the plays that sticks out to me is the long stretch play that they try to run to the left side on Deebo, and they're like, they sniff that out to the fullest. Dude, if you're going to run Deebo, this is the other thing.
Jeff Wilson Jr. got tackled for a loss of 2. Jawan Jennings balls a block, but it was going east-west. Go up the cut.
You know who no one's bringing this up. You know who I'm worried about? I'm worried about Deebo.
We all are.
I'm really worried about Deebo.
Dude, Deebo showed a lot. Let's go to Brian real quick and Polo.
I hope I'm wrong. I'm worried about where he's at. How do you repeat what he did last year?
We've got 2 Brians here coming up. Let me know when we got a break here. But what's 27 or 25 today? 27, 25. We'll always mix them up.
We got it. You can get a call in.
All right, let's go to Brian in the city real quick before we get to Stu. Brian, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Hey, what's up, man? Just wanted to check how my problem with the 49ers right now is that Kyle Shanahan is one-dimensional with many quarterbacks. I mean, we see Andy Reid, the way he coached Alex Smith versus how he coached Patrick Mahomes. It's more of a different offense. It's more of a spread offense.
Agreed.
You see all these top offensive QBs now, they're in spread offenses. Josh Allen's in the spread offense. Patrick Mahomes is in the spread offense. Maybe that's what Trey Lance needs. He needs maybe a separate, different type of offense where he can move the receivers down the field, where he can actually scramble out of the pocket like a lot of these new quarterbacks do. I think Shanahan's more just too much in the run to the point where you're kind of just keeping Trey Lance in one dimension, and you can't really succeed in that. I mean, that's just how these other coaches are developing and evolving.
Yes, the pocket pass has to be the foundation of his success, and then the movement is what he builds off of it. Like, it's not the other way around. I think running him first and then trying to develop him as a passer, to me, that's working backwards.
All right, Brian and PA will get you after Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart will join us because a special thing happened for him over the weekend in Oakland, California. And come out and see the Red and Gold pregame show with Larry Krueger and Lorenzo Neal live from the Hilton Hotel in Santa Clara starting at 10 a.m. on Sunday. We may have to stop by there. Ask our old stopping grounds at the Hilton Hotel. The pregame show presented by Harris Ranch Beef, legendary quality, and Jim Beam Bourbon Whiskey. Taste the world's #1 bourbon.
Visit Total Wine and find your favorite Cabernet. And with their incredible selection and expert guides, you might even find yourself a new favorite. Always love what you find at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
As you know, sports teams, they plan well ahead of the next season. And if you're considering remodeling your home, you might want to consider a similar strategy. Talk with your contractor, designer, builder now about the upcoming project. Golden State Window and Door has new inventory coming online. Each location across the Bay Area, beautifully planned displays of doors and windows. Just go into one of the showrooms. You'll be surprised with the various styles that are available. For windows, we got the double hung, casement, awning sliders, and fixed windows. Also, the bifold windows and doors. Their respected partners are Milgard, Anderson, and Marvin. See Golden State Window and Doors variety of accessories like hardware, handles, knobs, locks, and casings. You'll be impressed with the well-informed staff, and they're always there ready to answer any of the questions that you have, and they can help you with orders. For locations and images, visit goldenstatelumber.com. Click products, then hit the drag down, windows and doors. Family owned for 3 generations. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Whether you're buying a new car or used one, it's a big investment, which is why you should choose Pennzoil Platinum. It helps extend the life of your engine and protect it up to 15 years or 500,000 miles, whichever comes first, guaranteed. That's because Pennzoil's base oil is made from natural gas and 99.5% free from engine clogging impurities. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Enrollment required. Keep your receipts. Other conditions apply. See pennzoil.com/warranty for full details. Find it at Firestone Complete Auto Care.
Okay, you know those amazing spots only the true San Francisco locals are in on? Like Square Pizza. That place with the square pizzas? Or Mama Hoo-Hoo? The spot for sweet and sour chicken that's anything but so-so. Order up! You know, with the Granch dressing. And all the other spots the real SF locals know without us even saying them. Yeah, they're on DoorDash. San Francisco gets it. DoorDash has it.
Hey, Becky, what about this beat for your next song?
It's cool, but I'm into faster stuff lately. Like Xfinity that gives me beyond gig speeds.
Got it. What about this then?
It sounds powerful, just like Xfinity. Because its supersonic Wi-Fi has 3 times the bandwidth, you can connect hundreds of devices at once.
That's what I call power.
Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Get the Xfinity Supersonic Bundle with unlimited gig speed internet, Wi-Fi equipment included, and a free 4K streaming box. All for $50 a month with a 2-year internet rate guarantee and no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Go to Xfinity.com/gig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay. New gigabit extra internet customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes wireless usage. After 24 months, regular rates apply. Requires compatible Xfinity gateway.
Visit Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill September 23rd through September 25th for their fall clearance sale event and take advantage of one-of-a-kind opportunities. Visit Friedman's Appliance Fall Clearance Sale event for the best time to save on new appliances for your home.
Traveling, volunteering, spending time with family. What's your retirement look like? With income planning from Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor can help you grow and protect your wealth. They'll look at your full financial picture and help you create a flexible strategy that considers things like market conditions and healthcare expenses, so you can stop worrying about the future and enjoy whatever comes next. Visit fidelity.com/income planning. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services member NYSE SIPC.
Pink Floyd's Roger Waters. This is not a drill.
We're doing a show in the round. It's something new. I'll look forward to the challenge.
Featuring his songs from the golden era of Pink Floyd. Friday and Saturday, September 23rd and 24th, Chase Center in San Francisco. Tickets on sale now at rogerwaters.com.
This is not a drill.
Produced by AEG Presents.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
In Fremont, 74 today, partly cloudy and breezy.
Weather brought to you by Pfizer and BioNTech. Whether it's the news, the traffic, the weather, or your COVID-19 vaccinations, it's important to stay up to date.
Score big with Xfinity Internet. It's made to do anything, so you can do anything. Supercharge your home with the game-changing speed of supersonic Wi-Fi. With 3 times more bandwidth, it covers the field and then some. And blocks billions of threats with advanced security that helps keep you protected at home and on the go. If you're keeping score, that's internet that does it all. That's unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake replacements, oil changes, washes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com and use code OIL50.
And so to the Oakland A's, Dave Calvo, Mr. Fisher, Billy Bain, Billy Bean, David Force, thank you very much for putting me in a place that I never thought I would be. Thank you very much that up until today, I didn't think I belonged. Thank you. And so...
Now, back to the morning roast with Bonte and Shasky.
We're talking a lot of Niner football here. We haven't even got to the Seattle Seahawks. We'll do that tomorrow and Friday, of course, but we needed to pause and pay our respects to a legend because we all love Stu. Whether you don orange and black, green and gold, Dave Stewart got his due over the weekend in Oakland, having his number 34, who Raleigh Finger said, you know what, it's okay for Dave Stewart to wear number 34. Number 34 is now on the wall at the Oakland Coliseum with Stewart on the back of that. And a lot of guys came out, Tony La Russa, Ricky Anderson, Terry Steinbach. We saw Eck there, Dennis Eckersley. Dave Stewart, a 3-time World Series champion, had that glare, had that stare. 2-time ALCS MVP and a World Series MVP, of course. Joins the morning roast here on 95.7 The Game. We've gotten to know Stu over the years. Does a lot of great work on the Oakland A's pre- and post-game show on NBC Sports California. Loves his boxing, loves his basketball, loves sports in general. Stu, congratulations. You got your due in your hometown, man. It must have been special. We watched you. We knew you were going to choke up. And we never thought that you'd choke up on the mound, but you had to choke up over the weekend, man, seeing your name and number on that wall at the Oakland Coliseum.
You know, I was actually more composed than I thought I would be on the actual celebration. There were moments, obviously, my mother, who is very, very special in my life. She actually would have been living had it not been for pandemic when we would have done the original ceremony. Mm-hmm. My stepfather just passed 2 months ago. He was 103 years old. Wow. And had been with my mother. They had been together since I was 19 years old. Mm-hmm. And then my biological father passed when I was 15. So, I thought about those things. 2 of my children weren't there. My son Adrian, my daughter Elise. They had things that had taken place in their life that didn't allow them to be there. But when I look back on it, and the path and how things took place and how they played into my life, there were moments. But overall, I was able to really survive the moment from the start to the finish.
Stu, me and B were talking this morning. about just your impact on us, and we would play strikeouts and stuff growing up, and my brother would be Will Clark, and I'd give him the Dave Stewart look. You know what I mean? That stare that you would give because you were just a postseason stud. But I want you to take me back to Oakland and take me back to St. Elizabeth's High School. What does this mean for someone who's breeded and seeded in Oakland to have your jersey and your number retired with the Oakland A's, your hometown team?
Speaking of St. Elizabeth, which is now Cristo Rey, Saturday night we did a roast.
Yeah.
And it's the first time ever that I've allowed somebody to talk so badly about me to my face and not beat their ass.
Hey, Stu, real quick, not to cut you off. We were in the suite together watching Game 5 of the finals, and you still had to stare. I was like, I don't even want to ask Stu what he thinks about this pick and roll.
Most intimidating look ever.
But the proceeds from the roast will go to Cristo Rey. But
awesome. Very cool.
Even Cristo Rey now is talking about retiring one of my numbers. I was a 3-sport athlete there: football, baseball, and basketball. Is talking about doing a number retirement there. But I was at the Boys Club, which is now the Boys and Girls Club, the Aussie and Car Club on East 14th or International now in 86. Just being here in the community, Pop Warner football, Little League, Connie Mack. There are a lot of organizations and places that I've been that have helped me, one of 8 children, to even get to this place because I grew up in East Oakland, blocks from Havens Court Junior High School. There's just a lot of things that went into play for me to make it to this point. And I'm just happy that through all of that and to everything that was put into me from the city that I didn't disappoint anyone.
Dave Stewart here on the Morning Roast. We know him as Smoke, great Oakland Athletic. Over the weekend, got his number retired. His name is on that wall at the Oakland Coliseum next to the Ricky Henderson Field signage there on the wall. And for 4 straight years, from 87 to 91, you won 20 or more games. You won 20 or more games. You were the World Series MVP, and really your career just took another level, took another step with those great teams. But what was it like seeing your great teammates there to support you? Because not one guy I've ever heard, whether it's Steinbach, whether it's Eck, whether it's Ricky, have ever said a bad thing about you. What was it like seeing your old manager there, your old teammates there at the Coliseum support you?
Well, Tony obviously was the biggest surprise because he's been going through health issues and I wasn't really sure he was going to be able to make it, but he did make it, and that once again brought tears to my eyes. But Sandy Alderson, who helped architect this thing with the Haas family, to have their support and for them to be there. Sandy also has not been in the best of health, and he flew all the way from New York here. Walt Jockety, who was a part of the front office staff. And then when we talk about my teammates, Carney, Eck, Steiny, Ricky, it's just unbelievable that they would honor me in this way. Reggie Jackson, Vada Blue was there. I had a friend, football athlete, Cornelius Bennett.
Oh yeah,
former Buffalo Bill,
great player.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all the way from across the country, living in Florida to show up for me. And I mean, there just are no words to express those types of friendships, that type of camaraderie, the relationships, which are far more than just baseball or football friendships. Those guys are my family, and I've sent each one individually a thank you and let them know how much it meant to me for them to be there. They're just, like I said, thank you isn't a big enough word for any of those people that were there, any of my family that were there to help me celebrate that day.
Stu, I look at like a career as a whole, and just for us locally, it feels like that moment for you was the 89 World Series. Giants, the team across the bay that you probably didn't like growing up against your Oakland A's. And obviously the earthquake is kind of the big thing, but you were the best player in that series.
Yeah.
I mean, you were the man. You came out, you threw a complete game, you come back 10 days later, and I know that was the bigger thing. Now that a lot of time has gone since the earthquake, and I'm not trying to diminish the tragedy that was, did it feel like you didn't really get your just due for how great you were for that playoff run?
You know, the way I look at it is, you know, I can't be the judge of my performance or how well I play, or for that matter, how badly I played. It's easier to talk about the bad moments, but the good moments, you know, I'd much rather those things be judged by my peers, people like yourselves and, you know, my teammates, and, you know, and then ultimately to be honored with my number being retired now forever. Those are the things that helped me understand what my career was really about. The fans that were there, the admiration from the people in the seats. That is a demonstration of what I did here in Oakland. But I can't be the judge of that. Quite frankly, I only live in the moment. Anybody that knows me, they know that today is the day that matters. And I probably don't take enough time to look back on my career or look at the things that I did during the time that I was playing. And if I would have, it wouldn't have equaled the total sum of my career if I'd have looked at every individual day, take a day to look back on what I did yesterday. I didn't feel that was the way to get to the end of the tunnel.
Well, Joe Shasky here has a bit called Box Score Bonte, because I like to, at night, we both do it. We go down the rabbit hole of pro baseball reference, or pro football reference, or pro basketball reference, and we just look at numbers. And we're just like, man, can you believe this guy did this? Like, we look at your numbers. You were 10-6 in the postseason in 11 series, right? 11 series. He had a 2.84 ERA. Now, these numbers,
the best of the
against
best.
the best of the best. And against the Giants that year, 1.69 ERA in the World Series. Yeah, Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, Matt Williams in the middle of that lineup, and you just stifled them. Against the Red Sox, we know what you did to Roger Clemens.
Oh, yeah.
You basically punked them. On the other side, you had a 1.13 ERA. So your numbers are ridiculous. And we could talk about that all day long. But I am interested to know some of the jokes that were said in that roast, because you mentioned that, man, somebody talk about me, man, I'm going to kick their ass. What was the one that got you Saturday night at that roast? Because I heard it was legendary.
There was this is the funny one. Outside of the venue, there were porta pots with my name, Stewart, and number 34 all over the porta pot. Right? So one of the comedians says, yeah, this is Dave Stewart. Look, he's got his name all over there. He's all dressed up with his name and his number on these porta pots. All that goes to show you is that Dave Stewart is in relation to, I can't say it starts with an S and ends.
Hey, you know, Dave, there's so many great players and just athletes that have come out of Oakland, the East Bay, the city as well, but primarily the East Bay. Who are the guys you modeled your game after? That's what I always wanted to ask you, because we modeled our game after you, watching you grow up, but who did you model your game after?
You know, I was fortunate, man. In the actual Bay Area, you know, I had a chance to spend time with Mike Norris. But, you know, to watch Vida Blue and Blue Moon Odom, I had the opportunity to see Juan Marichal on the Giants side, Bob Gibson, Fergie Jenkins.
Wow.
Those were the guys. Quite frankly, Bob Gibson and Fergie Jenkins are the guys that got me on this 20-win run, because I looked at after the first year and I said, what's the most consecutive 20-game seasons? And I started looking at those guys, and Fergie had six in a row, I think. Gibby had 7 in a row, or vice versa. But so I started thinking, well, I can do that. And then, like I said, being around Mike Norris in my off seasons, we used to work out over at Cal Berkeley. Rupert Jones, you know, Al Woods. We all used to go over to Cal Berkeley and get our workouts in, and so those guys were already playing professionally. Rupert and Al Woods were in the big leagues. Al Woods with Minnesota. Rupert at that time was with Kansas City. And so I was learning from those guys' work ethic, and Michael Norris was continuously working on my my mechanics.
Well, Stu, you got your due over the weekend. You're great on television. You're great on the mound. And I'm glad you got your due, man. 3-time World Series champion.
Legend.
We've gotten to know you over the years,
Yeah.
man. You're a legend. Everybody, whenever Dave Stewart comes around, is like, yeah, that's a great pitcher. That's a great pitcher. 4 straight 21 seasons. 4 straight 21 seasons when the AL was stacked. And, of course, the National League, and you play some great teams in the World Series. Stu, congratulations, man. We heard more and more about the roast. Maybe off air we both could, we all could get together here about some of the jokes there that happened at the roast.
I'll tell you about some of the jokes that I could really tell.
Well, and
the stuff, man, it was X-rated and dirty.
Next time you come on, we're going to go down the Ricky rabbit hole. You and him, I'm sure you played football against him. And I want to talk about how soft these pitchers are these days. When they yank them out and they're going to give them a parade for going 4 innings, Stu. Drives me nuts.
All right, man.
All right, Stu,
The
take
legend.
care, man. Thanks for spending some
Dave
time with us
Stewart.
today. Dave Stewart, smoke. Had to
legend.
do that, man. He got his due. Absolute legend. A legend's on the line here because we could talk about these great Oakland A's teams. 4 straight 20-win seasons. Well, a legend, apparently, is Brian and Palo Alto.
Oh.
Brian and Palo Alto.
Thank you for waiting, Brian.
Yeah, thank you for waiting, first of all.
I love hearing Brian's
because he
takes.
always
He's very thoughtful.
has something to say.
Yeah.
Brian, you're on the
Very
roast.
much
What's
respect
happening?
his opinion.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, man. By the way, we didn't give Stu his round of applause, Bedoni.
Oh, yeah.
Rookie mistake. Hold on, PA. Where's the applause button for Dave Stewart? Somebody.
There you
it
go.
is. 408 Comcast Business Text Line.
Brian and Palo
There you
Alto, good luck trying to follow up Dave Stewart, but I know you can do it.
Yeah. Well, I was a Giants fan, right? So, anyways, yeah, I was going to say, I think the thing with Trey, look, there's no reason to put him in the ground or anything at this point, but let's stop everybody saying he's going to be fine. We don't know that. We have no idea if he's going to be fine. None. He may be fine and he may not be fine, right? And I think the reason they brought Jimmy back as a backup is because they understand that there's a non-trivial chance that he's not going to be fine. And, they weren't willing to burn a season, right, of a contending team. And I think it's like, people are like, well, if you don't play Trey now, you end up in the same situation next year. But I think, if you think that Kyle's going to be willing to take an unlimited amount of losses and pain, right? I mean, we lost to maybe the worst team in the NFL on Sunday, right?
Agreed.
So there's Trey very well could lose this week, right, against the Seahawks.
It's not Trey. It's the 49ers, though.
So,
right?
So, we don't, if they're 0-2 or 0-3, and you think that he's just going to continue to trot out Trey, I don't, I don't think so. I don't think he's willing to burn a Super Bowl contending roster in his mind. Whether it actually is or not is a different question. I don't think he's going to be willing to burn that.
Well,
we have no idea if he's going to be fine. None.
Well, that I agree with. But, Brian, will you at least meet me in the middle and say this? Outside of Josh Rosen being moved off of a team and then drafting number 1 overall the very next year, when was a team that drafted a quarterback this high or traded capital of this much hit the parachute button on any quarterback that quickly? To think that they wouldn't play, let's just say he does struggle this year, they remove him, they're going to give him another chance next year. Whether that's right or wrong, that's what almost every team in the league would do. I mean, Fitzpatrick had the Dolphins running real wild, and then they made the switch to Tua, and it's still a head-scratching move, but they had to do it.
Yeah, I agree that, yes, I certainly agree that Trey, if they were to pull him out, they would put him back in at some point. Right?
Yes. But I'm with you on that.
No doubt about that.
I am with you on the sense that I do believe in, and I know a lot of people don't, but I believe that, yes, part why Jimmy Garoppolo is back, whatever part you want to make that, big or little, is because, if something happens with Trey, he's not good, he gets hurt, whatever, they are going to go to Jimmy.
Yeah, because
that's undeniable.
Well, you can't go to Brock Purdy and Nate Sudfeld, who's now in Detroit. I think it's a bigger indictment on them than it is Trey Lance.
They were working out a quarterback yesterday.
Right.
What was that?
Maybe they don't believe in Brock Purdy being the number 3. Maybe he wasn't a good scout team quarterback.
Well, I was going to go the other
direction. He was supposed
direction.
to be Justin Fields in practice, and maybe he didn't do the job. I don't know.
Or is the Jimmy trade imminent?
I don't know. Let's go to Antonio in Oakland, who always knows. Antonio in Oakland, what's happening? You're on the roast.
Yeah, we expected Trey Lance to play like Mahomes did in his second year, but Mahomes threw over 1,000 passes in college. Plenty of experience. Threw the ball all over, you know what I'm saying? Trey Lance threw it way less than that in college. So, at the end of the day, I'm really expecting him to be like a Russell Wilson in his second year, Big Ben in his second year. Those guys went to pretty good teams.
Right.
So, that's what I think. And as far as Jimmy G's a backup, we need depth, man. Like, if all these other starting quarterbacks in the NFL, if they were to get injured, their team is panicking because they don't have a good second guy. Well, we have a pretty good second guy, the best backup quarterback in the league. So that's why, guys. Hey, much love to you guys.
All right, thanks for the call, Antonio. And here's the thing, too. Maybe we could get into this tomorrow a little bit more as we break down the Seahawks. We'll get into the Seahawks, and Pete Carroll is a hateable coach, and the record that he has against the 49ers. He's been really good as a head coach against the Niners. But is this really a Super Bowl roster? And what I mean by that is when we look at this offensive line, we've picked apart this offensive line all offseason and said, this is the weak link of the team. Can you have the offensive line be the weak link of your team and still be a Super Bowl contender? I don't believe you can. I don't believe you can. And then you look at the running back room. You lose Elijah Mitchell after week 1, and Jeff Wilson Jr. looks like, we talk about the Giants having a bunch of 4A players on their roster. Jeff Wilson Jr. does not look like an NFL running back right now.
Would you meet me here? The way I determine, and everyone's got their own criteria, but the way I determine Super Bowl caliber teams, it's one of 3 things. You have to be elite on defense, elite at quarterback, or elite at head coach. One of those 3.
Is Shanahan elite at head coach? Do you believe he's an elite head coach right now? This is his 6th season.
I think the way I looked at last year, at times it wasn't, but then you get to the end of the year, and you're like, yeah, he was elite. Like, he was in the Final Four for a reason.
How many elite coaches do we have in the NFL? Andy Reid, elite.
That's a great question. I don't know.
Andy Reid, elite.
Yeah, Andy Reid.
Belichick, elite.
I think McVay's elite. I think he's proven it, personally.
Would you have McVay ahead of Shanahan right now?
Yeah.
Because of the Super Bowl?
Yeah, and I think consistently his body of work's been better. Whether we want to argue about rosters or not. I'm giving McVay the benefit of the doubt. To me, McVay's been better than Shanahan, but it's close.
Shanahan really good, but not elite. Quarterback, I think we all agree. Trey Lance is not elite right
Nor
now.
was Jimmy.
Nor was Jimmy, but Trey Lance is not.
I'm not trying to. 2019 was elite.
Just looking at Trey. Trey's not elite.
So like last year, look at the 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl, right? I believe McVay to be elite. I think at times Stafford can be elite. They have elite pieces on defense.
Right.
Not necessarily an elite defense, but you look up, and they were really good actually in the playoffs.
And they have an elite wide receiver in Cooper Kupp.
Exactly. So, and then I look at the team that they faced, the Cincinnati Bengals. Burrow was playing at an elite level at times.
No doubt.
Okay?
No doubt.
I don't know if Zach Taylor's elite, and I certainly didn't think their defense was elite.
Nope.
I look at Mahomes and Andy Reid, why I have them this year as a Super Bowl contender. Mahomes is elite, Andy Reid's elite.
Right.
I look at Josh Allen. Well, I know he's elite, and I think that the coach has that defense as an elite status.
And we look at the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. It was not elite at all.
No, it was not.
And everybody keeps coming at me with, Bonte, the Bengals made the Super Bowl with the porous offensive line. But when we take a step back.
Well, you could find outliers with anything.
When we take a step back and look at that Bengals Super Bowl run, we say, damn, Derek Carr didn't throw it to the end zone at the end of the game in a wild card game.
They blew a whistle in the middle of the game. I'm not really sure what happened.
We don't know what happened. A lot of Raider fans will tell you that was a fluke win.
It's tough to take it away from them.
The Tennessee Titans. A lot of people say Tannehill choked.
Well, he did.
We look at the Chiefs. The Chiefs choked. We don't say the Bengals won it. We say the Chiefs choked. We don't give the Bengals their due. We say the other team blew it. That was their Super Bowl run. That's how we talk about that.
I don't know if that's fair.
It's not fair at all, but that's
I do
the truth.
think you're right that we talk about it that way.
We talk about it that way. And here's the thing. Burrow got sacked 19 times during that Super Bowl run. 19 times. And got hit a lot more. And in the second half, he couldn't even throw a pass because that offensive line was so porous.
So I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at who are the teams that we this year are looking at as Super Bowl contenders. We said the Chiefs and the Bills. I believe Tom Brady
and the Bucks because you have an elite quarterback and elite defense.
Yes, and I don't think their coach is elite, but because of
2 or 3 are elite.
Exactly. So that's how I do. Now other people might have different criteria, and that's totally up to them. I look at teams in the AFC, and I'm saying to myself, there's so many elite quarterbacks, but there's a lot of question marks on defense. There's some like Baltimore. Lamar can be elite at times. Harbaugh can be elite at times. Their defense can be very elite at times. But I don't know if any one of those guys is elite right now. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure. And they're a team I really, really like. You know, but I don't know what to make of them. The Chargers. I believe Herbert to be elite. But is he?
Is a head coach elite?
Oh, that I don't think so. Is that defense elite?
We don't know yet.
Exactly.
We don't know yet.
So that's where when I hear people throw the word Super Bowl contender out there, let's dig a little deeper and go, how many actual Super Bowl contenders do you have?
No doubt about that.
I mean, right now it's Chiefs-Bills, and it feels like a big drop-off.
A big drop-off. Big-time drop.
Like
and then
Green Bay.
maybe you could throw the Bucs in there.
Well, I would say Green Bay is a great example.
Great elite quarterback, but everything else is the defense elite?
Questionable.
No. Head coach elite? We don't think Matt LaFleur is elite.
So let's go back to the Niners. I don't know if their defense is elite this year. I thought it was.
And the quarterback's not elite,
wrong.
and the coach is not elite.
Exactly. Well,
so are they really a Super Bowl contender? Did we overrate the 49? And it's week one. We're not making proclamations after week one.
I'm just asking out loud.
Yeah.
What's the criteria that you're using for those determinations?
All right, we'll start to break down Seattle a little bit more tomorrow on the roast, but now it's time to flex.